Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and him. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Sorry about that. What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
It'd be I. 40 keys.
40 keys.
This is the producer in the building.
I'm gonna start doing that for no reason.
No, you can't do it.
Just trying to make your fingers do stuff like that. Whatever gang signs he throwing up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, heart gang.
I think I got rheumatoid or something. It's like you got the rheumatoid arthritis. I can't do it no more. Whatever.
Yeah, we might get some shots thrown at the studio if
It
we
might
keep doing that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a square, so it's okay.
You're a square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm a
Why my
41-year-old
heart?
square. That's it. You're a heart. Okay, cool.
diamonds. I think it's called
Diamonds are
sideways square or diagonal square.
or rhombus.
Is that why it's called? Nah.
Yeah.
Diamond is spelled D-I-A.
Mm-hmm.
A diagonal square is a diamond.
Mm.
All right, I'm gonna stop at the high thoughts.
It works.
Maybe.
Have a brain
Who knows?
rot.
Yeah, sorry. All right, look, welcome everybody. We got a lot to talk about today. Some good stuff on our Bills wide receivers. Hope you enjoy that bit. But before we get to that, we're gonna start the show how we always start the show. We're gonna start off with a little segment we like to call Stuff We Heard.
I got stuff from our Discord.
You got stuff from our Discord?
I got stuff from the Discord.
Come with it, bro.
Okay, now we just got finished talking about this.
Okay.
Laura and Heel and all. Okay, so when you watch the GR or when you listen to GR, when you listen to those, how many times you want to ask me, "How you doing?" Hey, how you doing? It's Rod from Binghamton. How you doing? Hey, it's Todd from Tonawanda. How you doing? Okay, I'm the same as I was the last show. The same as I was the last call. I ain't changed. Don't ask me how I'm doing. Because I'm doing this. You heard it. You listened to the show, right? So you heard it. And furthermore, people that work in the corporate world, Teams or any derivative of that, don't just say hi and then leave it be until I respond. Because if you say hi and leave it be until I respond, I'm going to leave you on red. I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff I'm looking at right now. And you say hi and then, what do you want?
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
You can't. Because it's all bad.
Okay, you got to think about it from their perspective. I'm always what's going on, Laura? What's going on, Billy D? What's going on?
Oh,
Bones?
Laura, you're one of them. No, but
dang, like you said before the show. Damn. No, but look, if we're being objective here, these people are sitting on the phone. They're not listening to the radio because they don't know what's going on before they get on. They can't.
You never listened to a show before?
Well, I'm not saying they've never listened to it before, but these people are calling into the show to talk about something specific with the people they like to listen to. So they sit
to the point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No. Honestly, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, okay, after everybody calls and says they're from, we got Todd, and then he's like, yeah, it's Todd from. No, my name is actually Rod. Whoever the hell you are, just ask the question. Give me your grievance.
So they supposed to let the radio show host disrespect their name like that?
Sure, whatever.
Yo, if I call a radio show and they be like, Artemis, go ahead. Whoa. Hold on, bro. Hold on.
Yeah,
I know you the radio host, but it's Aramis.
You might see me right there, man.
No, see,
get my ish right.
See, we know how it is because our names are just bad, right? Because I remember I was on the phones and I hated it. They wouldn't let me use my middle name because my middle name is easier to hear and spell. Okay. I ain't saying it on here because everybody will have my government at that point. And I don't know who likes me, who doesn't at this point.
That's true.
So, this lady, she says, what's your name again? I said, Keyshawn. She said, okay, can you spell that for me? Keyshon. Thanks, Kevin. Click.
I would have to call back. You can't hang up on me with the wrong understanding.
That's a valid crash out right there.
It ain't even a let me help you out thing. It's like, no, I need to correct your behind. You can't hang up the phone after you get my stuff wrong.
I spelled it. You said Kevin. Where did you get Kevin from?
I don't know.
Oh my
That's
god.
like-
not even close
like-
to Keyshawn.
Like Chappelle, like Chappelle when he was like he was talking to his agent. Remember, it was like I think it was Killing Me Softly.
Oh yeah.
It was like I was messing with my agent. It was like, all right, zip it up and zip it out. And his agent was like, zippity doo down to you too. Bye bye.
And Billy D said people call him William D. Williams. Yeah, I mean, they think they're cool. They be like, yo, he goes by Billy, but we know what it really is William.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Just call me William. But yeah. So, what else do we have? Oh, for you guys that like movies, I know you're one. He actually recommended for you. 4DX is the way to go.
For
4DX for any movie. Well, not any movie. You got to look at the Regal.
is that the one with the water spraying?
The air, the water spraying.
We've
the
done
moving
that
seats.
once.
The movies you saw movies because I did it in Niagara Falls with that roller coaster experience, but this is actually we saw Final Destination like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what movie we saw. It was in the Regal.
Okay,
You
so you
talking
just
about
hit.
you talking about the one at the mall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We went one time, but this is like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying years ago. It's only been out for less than a decade. But yeah, it was like 2-3 years ago. We
Okay.
went. I forgot what movie we saw.
Yeah, I think they got Thunderbolts in there. So T was like, "You going? Yeah, see,
Wait, Thunderbolts is out?
no, it's going to be in there. So they got a schedule.
So I'm at the stage in my life now where where I have to go see movies by myself
Mm-hmm.
because nobody in the family likes superhero movies but me and Junie. And Junie's always busy doing something. So
Oh, yeah.
all right, I'm gonna have to start seeing these by myself. But I will be in 4DX catching the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, that and Fantastic Four will be in there as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so you.
Hey, man, don't
Thunder.
call me out, man, because I always go with you to go see it.
Boy, as long as you're not busy, as you just
Yeah.
said, you're too busy for your old man cats in the cradle type stuff now.
Cognitive dissonance. Did
Hold on
somebody
now,
change
hold
their
on.
name, or is it? Should we be thanking cognitive dissonance for becoming a member?
Well, thank you anyway, because
Yeah.
yeah. twice.
Let's not say I'm always busy because I've always been getting the phone calls about something. So.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're always doing stuff, so that's why you always get a phone call.
Always doing ish. Let's see.
On my phone, I got family calling my phone, so
Oh,
not my fault.
I know you're special. You're the chosen one. What
What thing I do anything?
nothing. And also, Pro Football Focus top 25 under 25. Christian Benford was number 18 on the list.
Okay. Fair. Absolutely fair. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Penny Sewell was number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fits.
Yeah,
That fits. He's dominant, man. He's dominant, and he anchors that line. So
yeah,
and all that for a right tackle too.
Yeah,
That's a
Puka's
lot.
number 2. Kyle Hamilton 3. Jaden Daniels is 4. Trent McDuffie 5. I'll just give you the first 10. Jared Versus 6. Will Anderson Jr. 7. Brian Branch 8th. Bijan Robinson 9, and Jahmyr Gibbs 10.
I think I would have had Jahmyr Gibbs a little higher than that. Who's before him?
Bijan.
Yeah, I would have had him ahead of Bijan.
I don't really. I mean, maybe because of Atlanta, but I don't really. Atlanta doesn't move the needle for me, and
Yeah.
so nobody there really does either. So I'm probably missing a boat. I know he's good, but okay.
Yeah, it's funny. Atlanta is one of those teams that have these high draft picks like a Drake London and a Kyle Pitts and a Bijan, but for some reason the NFL loves the picks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the people around Atlanta don't seem to like respect the picks. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake
Right.
London's a good receiver, but I'm not going into a game like, oh my God, we got to stop Drake London.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's weird. And I'm not going into a game, oh my God, we got to stop Kyle Pitts. Like he hasn't been dominant. And really, realistically, last year was Drake London's best season as a receiver. I think it was year 2 for him?
Yeah.
Is that right? So I mean, maybe he turns into like a bona fide, number 1 dominant guy this year in year 3. So, we'll see. But even Bijan's numbers last year, they were good, but they weren't like where he was drafted good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe it is just Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I forgot. One point I wanted to make about the 4DX. I was sitting next to this guy he must not have been like us. He had a tub of popcorn, and I'm like, after the previews, and I saw how it was, like, it's not gonna make it. About, I think the third preview, he put the popcorn bucket on the floor. He was like, he knew better because it was like all on his chest, and he's trying to like eat. And,
dang!
It was a bad situation. So he's like, I think it was that dragon movie they showed. So you doing all this nonsense?
You got to get the bag.
Well, yeah. Kim was like, "How was the popcorn?" I was like, "I ain't had none." He was like, "Why not?" Like, we didn't want none. Went to Chili's first.
Kevin says, "This is the year either we get to the Super Bowl if or someone needs to get fired." Are you? And then I like the. Let me just say, I like the way this comment reads. You know what I mean? It's like very definitively. Either we get to the Super Bowl or someone needs to be fired. Then he just completely changes the subject. Are you guys going to Miami week 3?
You going to Miami?
No. So yes, but we might not be there for the entirety of the game. Well, no. let me finish.
I have no choice.
Let me finish.
Like, we ain't gonna stay, but we'll be there.
Yeah. No. So what we've been talking about doing. Because I'm actually a part of the Rees T, like the company, and so we're looking at setting up locations around the stadium to fulfill online orders. So we may be around the stadium. If we do end up finding a way around that, and I'm available, then I'll probably be there to do some type of tailgate show or something like that, or just kind of be live on scene for the pregame show that I do with Tommy. We do that every Sunday or every game day an hour before kickoff, so and leading up to kickoff. So either way, I'm gonna find a way to be there in some capacity. So one of 3 options it's gonna be, but yes, I will probably be there. So you can find me if you want.
Yeah, Alton, yeah, we'll get you because he said something wrong with the Discord. The link that he got.
He got a defective link?
I think so. He might have put a space in there somewhere.
All right. I will find you and send you another one.
We definitely in there talking. We talking it up in there. So
yeah. Laura's like kicking everybody's behind that says anything negative about the Bills. I'm kidding. Laura says, "OMG, I went to Maze Runner by myself on a work day, and I was literally the only person there. Private showing. Yo, that's dope.
Right.
That's dope. Maze Runner was a good movie,
that's
too.
That's a good one for that.
Yeah, that's a very good movie for that. OLI. Oh, wait. He says, thanks, Key, for being this one.
You got to read it out loud. Now you can't just mumble it.
I thought you read it. Did
thanks,
you read
Key,
it?
for being a Discord early AM stats fat guy. I didn't think anyone was awake. No, honestly, Sunday is probably the only day that I probably check out early. Sunday and Monday, because I work. Actually, on Friday, I was at work until about 2:30. Then I had to go home and eat and cook and do all that stuff. So you'll probably catch me any given time somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. I'll be up. So yeah, I get up about 7:30, 7:45, and you have me until about 3. Give or take meetings and stuff like that. If people are saying hi to me on Teams too much, then I can't see it. But hopefully we'll keep that to a minimum.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we can make the link so that it doesn't expire.
We'll just send it to you and say, do it now.
Yeah, we'll
do
think
it now.
Yeah, just tell me when's a good time to send it to you, because the other part of that too is, and I'm not saying you're gonna do this, but if we make it just last forever like that, then anybody could really share it. And I get that anybody could realistically, share it the moment we send it to them. But if it expires in 24 hours, how many people can you really send it to in 24 hours? I don't know.
I mean, you know what, the way I look at it though, if you do that and you share it and people get in for free, you got a free preview of what you're paying for, and then we'll kick you out, and then you can pay for it.
There you go. You will get caught. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. You know what? And it's funny because I spent. Oh my gosh, I probably have about 20 years of like soft policy enforcement and quasi law enforcement experience. Like I spend a lot of time in security. I spend a lot of time in loss prevention and stuff like that. And that aspect of doing the job is the one I hate the most, where you have to like hold people to policy. And that's terrible to say because I was always good at my job. But for me, it was, if I approach people, it was always from the standpoint of, hey, look, I don't want to be doing this any more than you want to hear this.
Right.
But can we just, you know what I'm saying? Can we just come to some kind of understanding? Like, this is how we need to do things going forward. But, certain things necessitate a stronger approach. And if it was needed, then I would do it. But all of that is to say, in this particular instance, we gotta protect the chat.
Believe it or not, in real life, well, I shouldn't say in real life, but in everyday life, he's the nicer one. You'll never believe it, but he's the nicer one.
I am.
I try. If you ever see me out in public, say what's up. I'll dap you up. We'll have a good conversation. But hey, I know my limits, and things. Hey, that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Except for and this is weird. People are probably going to throw like all kinds of tomatoes at me for this. And I promise we'll get back to football in a second. But those people that like panhandle on the throughway exits, like I always just drive right by them. You know why? Because working for the place I used to work for that dealt with, homeless people on a regular basis, I saw a lot of those people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know a lot of those people, not by name anymore, but I did back then. And I would pull up to them and say, hey, how's it going with your bed over there at the facility?
Like,
and well, no, because they would know my face. Like, you know what I mean? Because I dealt with them that much, right? And they would be like, oh, everything's good. Everything's cool. Okay. I don't know why you over here, got to sign up. You looking for food. You got 3 squares over there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then there would be people that came in, got a bed, and then left the next day because it was summertime and they wanted the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be back out there panhandling.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, what do you so you're not really hurting.
No.
You just looking for a little beer money.
It's about the lifestyle.
That's the thing about it too. If panhandlers were just honest, just be honest, like I need beer money.
Bro, I got a story for that.
What?
Just what you just said. Dude was like, it was one of those white lie. I need a beer joints, right?
Oh,
so I was like, all right, since you honest, here you go. I give him like a 5 or something like that. This is 20 years ago.
Right.
This man came back with 2 beers, one for him, one for me.
Oh, snap.
I said, I'll be damned.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, that's ironic because normally he pocket both. He's like, no, I just don't want for your troubles. Here's yours. I'm like,
see, like, okay, so that you saying that just reminded me of this. So the Joe's over on Grant and Amherst pizza spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled up there probably 2 weeks ago, and there was a guy standing outside the cell phone store that's like 2 doors down.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
And he asked if I had $1 or something like that, and I was like, nah, I don't carry cash. And so I walked into the pizza place and ordered my food. And then literally like a minute later, like 60 seconds clear, this old head comes in with the guy, buys him a slice of pizza, right? So I get my food a little bit before they get theirs. I leave out. I'm getting in the car. I see this dude coming out the pizza spot with his pizza in the box, his slice of pizza. He takes the pizza, he stands right back where he was standing before, puts the pizza box on the floor, and just stands there looking for people. Like, bro, you ain't really hungry. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, again, there are people that need the help, but me knowing what I know and having worked in the field for 6 years, like, I will never give money to a panhandler again. The city has so many services available. New York State in general has so many services available for people like that. Yeah. I just won't do it.
And your screen is black. I don't know if you wanted it like that. Not that, the one up here.
No, I don't want it.
Yeah, see, it looked weird when I was looking at the screen. I said something wrong with it. Something wrong. But yeah, so as promised, I guess we'll talk about some kind of football.
I know. We got to get to it's even though it's the off season. Fine.
I mean, I like talking, but people don't like when we do that. So I guess we're talking about football.
Well, what you got in the notes, man? Let's pull something out.
Let's see. Well, you know what? How about we do this? I want to talk about what Laura wanted to talk about a year ago.
Let's do it.
A year ago.
No, let's do it. A year ago. But let me find
last
this.
week.
No, I think it's 2 weeks ago now.
Dang.
She put in the Discord. It was like one of the first times. It was just us 3 in there at the time. So I'm really feeling bad now. Laura, this is for you. She said, I'd be interested in hearing some initial discussion on how you can how you hope schematically will run our defense now that we're seeing who the players will be based on the strengths of the weapons we have and where the chinks in our armor may be and where we will probably shine. So
Okay. So realistically, this is still going to be a 4-2-5 base. And that's just the other name for that is the nickel defense.
Yep.
It's still going to be nickel defense. The foundation of the defense is still going to be pressure from the defensive line, both in the pass game and the run game. So I really don't think there are going to be very many things about this iteration of the defense that change, specifically because the safety room has not changed. I think the safety room being what it is, you're not gonna see, you're not gonna see very many of the disguise types of calls that the Bills used to do when they had Hyde and Poyer here. Hyde and Poyer, with their ability to cover man and zone, both of them had experience, lots of experience in the past of, playing corner, which gives them a much better ability to man up on a receiver in the slot if they needed to, or a tight end if they needed to. So that allowed them to do different things because defenses would respect the coverage ability of the safeties. We don't have that anymore. So now it's going to be a very split safety look. You're going to see a lot of quarters defense. You're going to see a lot of cover 3, and cover 2 is the foundation of a lot of what Sean McDermott does to begin with. So you'll see the basic cover 2. You'll see the Tampa 2 style, which actually works pretty well with Bernard and his coverage ability. And basically the only difference is Tampa 2 is your middle linebackers is dropping a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I think I was honestly, for people in chat, we added some extra locations that we're streaming now, so you'll see the response like 7 times. I didn't know it was going to do that. So I changed it to one of our locations, so now you only see the message once. That's why I put test in the chat, just so you know. But yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, I know you did a show or a thumbnail on it a while ago, but I still say the chinks are the safety.
Yeah,
I think I still think that the safety is paramount to what the defense does, and what they can do. The 3 guys in front of them, I have no doubt about Christian Benford. I have no doubt about Taron Johnson. And I really, really, really want to. I'm scared every year about the first rookie that's drafted, but I really, really want to say I like Max Harrison a lot. So I don't feel. I'm going to go on out on a limb right now and say I don't have any qualms about him either. He's going to mess up, and we're going to be there to support him, right, guys? Right? Yes. Okay. Because we're not going to go with the mafia heads that just see one thing and like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And those are the people that come in here and say we're corny because that's how they think. But we're better than that. So no, I think the way that the secondary is set up is if you had 2 safeties or if you had one dynamic safety, even you would see you could see a lot more freedom in the front 7 or front 6, we'll say, because we're still doing, like you said, the nickel. Dorian Williams is a heat-seeking missile who can blitz, who can run, defend. TJ Sanders can play the defense, can play the pass. I don't think they care about playing the run.
Right.
They still don't care. They'll tell you they do, but they don't.
Nope.
Which is fine. But if teams are going to pass on you and you'll be ready. It's the ones that run. The Baltimore's, the teams of that nature that I think Detroit's on this. They're on the schedule this year, right?
Detroit?
Yeah.
Not on ours.
No. Okay. No. Okay. So if we ever have to see them in the Super Bowl, we're gonna need a run defense. So you got to be able to do both. And I don't know enough about a Pyrus fracture or whatever is wrong with Deion Walker. If it's a short-term deal, it's a life-term deal. I don't know.
No, it's not a life-term deal. Basically, from what Bean said about it, it's more a matter of strengthening the muscles around it as it's healing, and getting him to, because there was another guy I heard talking about this on the radio too.
Ostrowski?
I think so.
Yeah.
He was talking about the injury itself and just the pain management of it while it heals. So they I haven't heard anything about it recently, but when Ostrowski was talking about it, if that is his name, if we're saying it the right way,
it's Jerry Ostrowski.
Okay, yeah. So they can give him a shot for the pain. It's like a I think it's like some sort of silicone or something like that. To manage the pain, either that or they just hope that the swelling goes down and he's able to build up the muscle around the area and strengthen it. But it sounds like it could be something that they have to manage this season, just for the entirety of the season until he's like 100% completely healed. if it was me, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't even try to get him in-game reps until I know it's like 100% completely healed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got to be able to practice, and he couldn't practice during the rookie minicamp. You know, he was
Right.
doing individual drills and nothing team related, even more than one-on-one. So no, he's not ready yet, and they know that, and that's why he said, I don't, he didn't say I don't know why they're not letting you practice, but he said he could practice, and they're not letting him. That's what he said. But you got to be safe. You got to be safe from yourself. You're 6'7", 365, 340 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight on your back. And we talk about all the time, oh, you're going to get him down. I don't want to get him down. I want him to be what he was when he played in college in 2023, which is 331 pounds.
Yeah.
That's what I want him at. I don't want any kind of Frankenstein maneuvers where they repurpose the guy. No. Make him do what he did when he was great. That's how it is. If he's got a gut, then it worked. He played in the SEC. It'll work again.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the idea of the defense as a whole is it's going to be defensive line wins, or it's going to be a tough day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that might be the reason they went and focused so heavily on the defensive line. Is I think they realized that they're not going to spend a bunch of money on the safeties. I think Sean liked the safeties and didn't want to add very much. He didn't want to change much. He likes Cole Bishop. He's still, he may have seen some things during the season that make him believe in Cole Bishop's development. Okay, cool. We know he likes Taylor Rapp.
Loves him.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Sean looked at it and said, we don't need to change anything from the safeties. And if that's the case, then I'm sure Brandon Beane looked at it like, okay, well, if we're not gonna do that, then we need to make sure that the defensive line does what it's supposed to do. So let's throw as many guys at these teams as we can possibly throw, and see what happens from there. Because that's about the only way this team is going to be dominant, is if that defensive line is winning the way that it should.
Yeah, and I think, Roy, if I'm not mistaken, are you talking about in terms of the Epinesa treatment? You talking about losing the weight to play, I believe. If so, it's not Epinesa. This isn't new to him. You got to think about it. What are they trying to do with Kincaid? They want to put weight on Kincaid. What did they do with Boogie Basham? They made him lose 25 pounds. He was useless. You're looking at a bunch of guys that they want to construct and mess around with. Even as far as Landon Jackson. I saw him in person. I don't know what people are talking about when they say he's humongous. He's not. He's really not. He's not small. Don't get me wrong, but he's not this Adonis guy. He looks like, if I didn't know him, and no offense, he's distinguished because he has alopecia. So if you don't know him and then you see this guy, he's gonna stick out. He's 6'6", 6'5". I'm taller, but
no. You're 8 feet tall, bro. You're 8 feet tall.
It's funny though. Like when I see somebody that's like my height, I get excited. I'm like, yes, yes.
Your kind is here.
My kind, yes. The alien forces among us. Yeah,
giants like me.
So it's like, okay. So when I see him, I'm like, okay, I can work with this because this is a pass rusher. You can see it. He's not. He's not a first round. Chiseled dude that looks like he just eats left tackles for dinner. But he looks like he does something, and I think we need that kind of something. We need players that and even Hairston. Everybody's talking about he's 190 pounds.
Yeah,
he's 100. If you watch him one time, Bean said he doesn't like he plays a 4-2. Who does? The Flash? At 4-3. Wow, that's still like what, top 90 percentile or something like that.
Yeah,
probably more than that. I don't care if he runs a 4-3. Good,
right?
And he was 185, 180, whatever. That's good enough. You don't have to. Everybody doesn't have to be this big dude. Merton Hanks for the Niners back in the day for years was just this frail dude with these long sleeves and a long neck, and everybody's like, yo, he's excellent. But now I guess you got to be like a 6 foot, 220 pound cornerback who runs a 4.1, and now you're good. It's tough. No, your eyes are twinkling. No, forget that. He's like, ooh, 6'1". 4-1. Okay.
I'm just saying. Look, I would have preferred. And look, Max Hairston, I think, based on what the tape has shown us and what some of the scouts are saying, if he's able to repeat what he did in 2023 here, it's an instant success, and I wish nothing but that for him for years to come, right? But I think I would have preferred to hear that he plays at the speed that he actually ran, and even if that's just him dropping weight to run a faster speed, look, I don't think that's the reason the Bills drafted him as high as they did to begin with. So I don't think that really matters that much. But I did want to get to this.
Okay.
I did want to get to this comment from Beth.
I was going to go to the other one she just put on there.
Okay. She said, where is it? Oh, she said, listen, I really like Landon Jackson. He looks like he's nasty on the field. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's not a pretty good pass rusher. I'm not going to say that. Do I think that I've seen enough on tape to believe that he's got moves and counter moves like an Alfred Collins showed on tape or some of the other better pass rushing defensive linemen? Look, there were 32 teams that passed on him in the second round too. And if he was really that nasty on the field, he probably would have went a little bit earlier. I mean, the fact that the Bills got him in the third round when they did, and it wasn't what pick was it in third round? It was like
62 or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't want to take the expectation from third round 62nd overall pick, if that is what it is, to, oh my God, he's a dog, he's this, he's that, because he's on the Bills. You know what I'm saying? These young players, some of them come on the field and do that. Most of the time, the guys that come directly on the field and do that are the guys who were elite in college. You know what I'm saying? I think the diamonds in the rough, like a Christian Benford, that's rare. We have to have an understanding that that's rare. We can't and I'm only saying this because these players hear these expectations.
It was 72, by the way. My bad.
Okay.
10 off. Yes.
Yep. So these players hear these expectations, whether they tell us that they hear all this stuff or not, they hear it. The PR team has to tell them that. In the same way that Sean McDermott acknowledged on Sal Capaccio's podcast, they got a PR guy that tells them this stuff before they go and do these interviews and stuff. So they do hear about it, and players probably hear more about it than coaches do. But I specifically or particularly don't want to put any of this stuff in my mind like these guys are going to come in and be great, and then when they're not, I'm pissed off. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just save my judgment, save my excitement for when it actually happens, and then I'll be happier. If they do it, awesome, icing on the cake. If not, okay, third round pick, that's cool. Whatever.
Yeah. No, I think Miguel, he's talking about Harrison. He said Bean said Harrison ran fast and plays fast. I watched. No, yeah, he did say that, but he also said he doesn't play like a 4-2-3 guy. And unless you're a 4-3 guy, which I am clearly not, well, you wouldn't know, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not. 4-3 and under is fast as hell. It's fast as all get out. So who am I to say, oh, he's slow at 4.28? No, that's not what a cornerback usually does. Also, you got to think about it, put it in perspective for Landon Jackson. He played out of character for however many years. We're going to slide me over a little bit, I guess. He's played a little more. Yeah, there we go. I feel centered now. I feel nice and whoa, I'm there. But no, Landon Jackson played in a 4-eye, which is definitely not what he should be doing. A 4-eye is a quasi 3-4 defense. He was the defensive end in a 4-eye. So you're not going to pass rush. You're not going to get sacks. You're not going to get. When I looked at his numbers and I looked at what they really had in store for him in terms of where they lined him up, it was consistent with his 6.5 sacks. And I don't know how he got 6.5 sacks. When I look at Landon Jackson and what he did in that Arkansas defense, which is one of the lowest. I tread lightly here. One of the lowest SEC teams, along with Kentucky, and who was next to him. Everybody's playing for Landon Jackson. And I don't even know who the linebackers were behind him, but unlike a lot of other guys, the linebackers that they played with didn't get drafted. So, you know, Landon Jackson, if you look at what he does on the field, Beth, I don't know if I'll say he's nasty, but I'll say the more I watch him, the happier I am to have him. Kevin said Jackson looks clumsy. I think just because he's playing out of position. I think that's because they had him playing at that 4-eye, which he should definitely be a 5 or even 6 or 7. Yes, those do exist. I know we usually jump from a 5 to a 9, but there are positions outside.
No, well, look, okay, so that's the other part of this too. If history serves as any example,
Mm-hmm.
Ed Oliver being in a position to be a 3-tech had an elite year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if Landon Jackson can come in and be just that outside pass rusher,
Yep.
It's probably likely that he'll have a much better year of production.
Yeah, I think if he gets playing time, he's not gonna outplay Greg Rousseau. Rousseau is the first or second highest snap percentage on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But if you extrapolate that by his percentage, whatever he plays, his sack should be somewhere around Rousseau's, I would think. Just by virtue of the talent that he has. I think we're going to be very surprised because if you remember, I did not want Landon Jackson when we drafted him.
I said, why?
I said, why? I said, that's another Greg Rousseau. We already have that. But then I really watched it. And this is why when people call us haters and say, shut the hell up, because
we correct ourselves.
I'll correct myself. And I'll tell you when I backtrack or when, and it's not something but I'm going to keep doing I don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
No, I'm gonna tell you who it is. It's a reporter we on today.
Oh, snap! I
yeah.
can't wait for this. But no, I talk and I study and I study and I study and I study. When I say something, I'm gonna keep studying, and that's why I say these chats are very important. That's why I say the chat after the show is important. That's why the Discord, even though it's a paid service, is important because I like to be edified at all times. I want to know about the bill. I don't care. And D, I know you're in here, and I'm a quasi Giant supporter-ish. Kind of waned in years past, but earlier on in my football, I really like the Giants. But I don't really care about other teams. All I care about is the one that's on this hat and the team represented by your hat and this thing right here. So I mean, I don't have the capacity to really get into all the teams in the league, but I can tell you, I like to learn about players, especially coming out of college and what they're doing. So I'm not going to watch them, but I lean on you guys to tell me what they're doing out there.
So you know what's funny? D's getting a little bit of heat right now. He says, I like the Bills being a Giants fan, but I don't see the Bills getting to or winning a Super Bowl with a bunch of average players. That's the way their roster is constructed as of now, besides Allen. I'll say this, and I was saying this. I might have even said this Friday too, or no, I said it today. If there was any year in the history of years for the Buffalo Bills to make and win a Super Bowl, it's this year. This is the year that it looks like the NFL did the Bills a major favor in the scheduling. I mean, seriously. Look at the schedule. All of the hard games are here.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? On top of the fact they don't have to travel very much. They have 2 Thursday night games, which means they get the quasi bye week twice on top of a week 7 bye, which is basically the middle of the season. So you get these quasi buys, you get the bye in the middle of the season. You have the 6th softest schedule in the league with all your hard games at home. Like, tell me that the stars did not align perfectly for the Buffalo Bills to be the number 1 seed and make a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think we went over that to a degree. We got derailed with the Bills schedule and kind of went, with other teams, the Chiefs and the Ravens. And I mean, I think this is a perfect storm for other teams to take care of the other ones and kind of move out of our way.
Yes, exactly. And realistically, that's what the Bills have done for years for Kansas City. We took out the Ravens for them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We took out a bunch of other teams for them. And that's not to say that we know for a fact that these other teams would have gone on to beat the Chiefs or anything like that. That's not what we're saying. But realistically, Give me another. I looked at it. I looked at the list of strength of schedule. There is no team behind the Bills in strength of schedule. And when I say behind, I mean those last 6 teams that have a schedule easier than the Buffalo Bills. None of those teams were playoff teams last year. The next closest team to the Buffalo Bills that was a playoff team last year. Wait, did Miami make the playoffs
last year?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so Miami is the next closest team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 2 spots ahead of the Bills with, I think, a 100th of a percent more difficulty than the Buffalo Bills strength of schedule percentage. So, look, what that should tell you is all of the teams that were in the playoffs last year, all of them have a harder schedule than the Buffalo Bills right now. And for a team that had the MVP on its team and the team that made the AFC Championship game the year before, that's unheard of. You don't see stuff like that happening. It's literally on the line of if you are a huge conspiracy theorist, this is the time to start talking about it.
Oh, where's Mac when you need him?
right. Like there's I can't think of another good reason as to how all of this lined up, except for the rotation of divisions, and what a serendipitous moment that has to be for us. You know what I'm saying? So again, all that is to say, to D's point, this may be the year they overcome that. Even if that is the case, and look, I've always thought of the players that we have as players that come in with lesser talent, but more character, more, willingness to contribute in other ways to a team, more humility, whatever. Right? For me, the name of the game has always been talent. What I've seen win championships has been talent. But if there was a year for talent to not be the major thing that wins, it'll probably be this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I see the way I look at the Bills, if they construct it, and we're going to talk about the wide receiver room at length later. So I think that's a huge cog, and that's a huge make or break. It's not going to be Josh. It's not going to be anything. It's not going to be James Cook. Where is Mac? Mac is, I'm telling you, no, he's not the player. I'm telling you, he told you before. He foretold. He had things to do. He's a busy dude. So, I saw him get off one of my planes 2 Fridays ago. So he said hi, but he's doing big things in school and everything. So we'll let him be. I tell him you said hi. He said hi.
He still pops in the chat from time to time.
Yeah, the people, and he's not a Discord because he ain't really a texter, but
he's definitely not a texter.
If we could talk, I wouldn't be there and he would. So,
bro, I don't even know how I became such a heavy texter.
Me, probably.
I used to, like, you remember, right? me and Matt used to be on your tail about texting. Like you was like, yo, just text me. I'm like, bro, it's a phone call is faster.
Like when you hear your voice.
Right.
Dude, I like literally when my mom calls, we'll talk.
Yeah.
When other people call, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, okay, it's been 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Okay. Then I get off like, whoa, that was 12 minutes and 13 seconds. Wow. Oh my God. My head hurts. I'm scared. I think I need to go to the hospital. Yeah, I'm weird, man. I'm telling y'all be thinking I'll be laughing at it. I'm strange, but no.
Nah, I get it. I have a very small social tank. You know what I mean? Like I can text on social media and stuff like that, like with the best of them.
Yeah.
But if we're in person and you're like talking my ear off, like after a while, I'm just like, I just want to look at my phone, bro.
Yeah, you drained.
I don't got that to do, man.
They're like, go ahead, look at your phone. It's fine. I'll keep talking.
Right.
And I think for me, what it is like I'm spread so thin that I'm either at the gym, I'm cooking something, I'm at work because I work 2 jobs, or I'm doing something with Ken. So it's like, hit me on the hip. Yeah, that's old. I know, Junie. I know.
I didn't say anything.
I know, but I can't see you. I don't know what your body language. I feel like I was
trying
getting
to
judged.
Anticipate your moments.
I thought it's gonna be like, hold on. All right. But so it's like if you call me, I miss it, I can get back to the text when I'm good. Or you hit me with an idea, I can think about it for a minute, chew on it, and hit you with a good response. You talk. We come from the era of not having any time. You have anytime minutes. It wasn't just unlimited everything. It was anytime minutes.
Right.
Don't call me till after 9, and then moved up to 7.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I had that too.
That's where I was. Don't call me yet. Keys dating himself by saying hit me in the head. I knew it was going to happen. I knew somebody's going to get me. But no. And I think that's what it is. But in terms of what were we talking about? In terms of Matt, yeah, he wants to talk. He said, "I'll call you," and I'm like, "Okay, okay, you can call." My voice goes up an octave, and I'm, yeah, Beth, I got one, and he was in the back having a core meltdown on Roblox when I left. Have you ever played that?
Yes.
It's the dumbest thing ever. How do you even he's just having a melt, he's playing Ragdoll or something, and they're playing I'm KJ, and then they're running around punching people, and he dies somehow, and now he's mad. I'm like, who cares?
I did the most 1984 thing a person could possibly do on Roblox.
What was that?
I went into the general, room for everybody where there's a basketball hoop and stuff like that. Yeah. And I just perfected shooting a basketball hoop for 30 minutes straight. I didn't do nothing else. I didn't talk to nobody else. People would come stand next to me and shoot the basketball with me or get the ball and pass it to me. And I would just shoot it. I wouldn't say nothing to nobody. My son was trying to get me to play some jumping games and stuff like that, and he kept knocking me off the ledge. So I was like, I'm going back to the basketball hoop, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and be safe.
That's right. That's the most 1984 thing you could do, bro, on Roblox. Is just stand there and shoot a basketball.
Evidently,
right.
Roy said, I'm old myself, but I've never heard the phrase "hit me on the hip." Well, that's from the Sidekick. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Those little, they had the Palm Pilot that came on you, and you. I don't want to give my age. Well, I've told y'all know how old I am, but y'all still make fun of me. Yeah, Ren, you accidentally did, didn't you? You exposed yourself.
Got him.
A beeper. He got the beeper in there.
Yo, my uncle used to own West End Communications on that. Yeah. That was crazy because I didn't even know some of the stuff that my family was into back then. But my uncle had a cell phone store. My other uncle ran the car shop of car shops in the city on the west side. It was dope. I got a beeper for $5. Literally, nice. I paid $5. I got a beeper.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Spin. That's the one time you and I agree is when we call him Key old. That's it. Other than that, we are mortal enemies.
And Beth is right. Yeah, people will do something for Robux. Ken asked me once, "Can I have some Robux?" I said no. He said he never asked me again.
That's real.
He asked me for what is it on Fortnite coins, whatever. I don't know what they call the thing. I was like, no. So run around with your sword. I don't care. Yeah. And yeah, so that's what he does. He doesn't ask me for anything else. So thank God.
It's either Robux or for Ray, it's Robux or credits for Rocket League. Those are the only two games he's heavily on. But 8 years old, but he's nice on Rocket League. I keep trying to encourage him, dude, you just need to hop in the tournament, make some money.
I'm tall. I'll take the cane.
Nah, you know what you got to get? You got to get the little God, what's it called? You need the little Walmart cart. That's what you need. You need a 6.6 version of the Walmart cart with the backup beeper.
Dude, I just want to ride around that window. I just want to ride around in the window
with the shopping cart, the little shopping basket on the front,
and have Ken walk behind me. Yep.
just drive around at 2 miles an hour. And when you turn it, it's always too sharp, so you're always bumping into stuff.
Excuse me, pardon me. Pardon me, excuse me.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Where were we? Let's see. Back to did I finish my thoughts on? Because I actually had stuff written out for that too.
I don't know.
Let's see. Oh yeah, linebacker. I think linebacker is sort of an enigma too. In terms of the what do we need to see from the defense? Because I like I always say, I think my biggest. I think it was your staff. That'll work. My biggest conundrum with this defense is you can't have two likes. They have to be opposites. The defensive line and the linebackers. One's small, one's big.
Yep.
In our case, they're both
small.
Both small. They run fast, but when they're getting blocked and when they're getting hit, they don't shed blocks. They don't. it's tough because for me, I want to stop the run too. You know, I know our back. I keep having to do the math. Our five are going to be fine in pass defense. But what are we going to do when they run on us? What are they going to do when they throw the short balls? What are they going to do when they run the pick plays and we're getting caught in a muck because we have the safety. We have like 4 safeties on the field at one time. It's hard to do, and I don't know if I feel comfortable enough with McDermott and Babbage to actually navigate that yet. Because they haven't shown they've shown a rigidness, and it's really a McDermott rigidness. And did you know that the Bills? Let's see. Last year, the average blitz frequency was 156 blitzes in the season. The Bills have only done that 3 times since McDermott's been in Buffalo.
Yep,
they do not blitz. And funny enough, it was never when McDermott was the defensive coordinator when we were so aggressive. You know, everything was so aggressive. It was mostly Frazier, I think. Yeah, it was Frazier. So we got to quote it. We got to fix that. I'm telling you, when you got old guys, you're trying to hide stuff. You play the defense we've been playing.
Yeah.
But now you got these young guys. You got Landon Jackson. You got Javon Solomon. Remember him? You got Ed Olivers. You got the 3 cornerbacks. You got the safeties are going to be a bit of an issue, but that's when you got to get creative and bring them up. Bring one of them up. Let them blitz. That's what Hamlin was good for, actually. Yeah. You know, he was a good blitzer. Yes, he was. And Cam Lewis was a good edge blitzer. Mm-hmm. You know, but you have to do it more. You have to do that kind of stuff because even when a team is getting on a high horse, you want to knock the rhythm off. Yeah. You want to, even if it burns you, they have to know that you are capable of doing that. And that's something the Bills don't do. They always show you what they're going to do, and they sit there. And that's what a lot of people in this the chat picked up on. They have the tools to do it. It's just like trust your guys, trust the ones that are on the field.
Well, that kind of folds into the point that I was making in the Discord chat a little bit earlier too. The stat about Sean McDermott having a losing record against quarterbacks with a winning percentage of 500 or better. His defenses always struggle against the better quarterbacks in the league. And the reason for that is the disguising that he used to do with Poyer and Hyde only worked for so long in the game against those guys before they started figuring it out. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's why in the playoffs, the defense always kind of takes a dip because you're playing against the better quarterbacks in the league, right? So one of the things that I am worried about this season with regard to the conversation that we're trying to, fill out, that Laura asked us to look into, I think this defense is going to, it's going to be better and worse. I think the defensive line, we're going to see an improvement in consistent pressure, mm-hmm. right? But the caveat to that is we're playing a lot of bad quarterbacks this year.
Right.
So it's going to be difficult to really read too much into that until we get to the playoffs. The playoffs is really where that's going to show up. The other part of that is because you have a defense that traditionally doesn't do very much with stunts and twists and zone blitzes and things like that happen after the snap with a design of confusion consistently enough. As you just pointed out, the Bills don't blitz very much at all. Because that is the way that is, I think even these bad quarterbacks are still going to put up some decent numbers on our defense because the defense itself is designed to give up yards. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's designed to give up space until you get into that red zone.
That's when they clamp down.
Right. And realistically, it's not even, this is the funny part about it. It's not that the defense is clamping down. You know what I mean? It's that there's just no more space.
I was going to say that. Yep.
There's no more space anymore. Mm-hmm. So we can't take advantage of those seams, and we can't take advantage of the underneath space that you're giving up because the corners don't have to worry about so much stuff behind them. We don't have to.
Yeah. It's easy to play cover 2 when the safety zone is in front of them and not behind.
Yeah. Which is the craziest thing because one of the things that we praise our defense about is man, when they get to the end zone, man, it's hard to score. Like, okay, that's fine. I've heard people say this. They're fine with giving up the yards because once they get in the red zone, and I've even said this before, like early on in the winning years when we were, like 2020, 2021, 2022, I would say the same exact things. All right, that's fine. You know what? But wait till they get to the red zone. They ain't scoring a touchdown. And usually we were right. And that's cool. Until you start playing the better quarterbacks that can get touchdowns in the red zone.
Right.
And we saw that last year. We saw that the year before. We saw that in the playoffs, right? So what's the major fix this year? The major fix this year from last year is more pressure from the defensive line and corners that can press and run better, so to speak, right? Now, I don't know what kind of regiment they have Christian Benford on. Maybe they got him working on some speed drills and stuff like that. to kind of, get his game a little faster. But Max Hairston at his size, I'm sorry. He's not a press man corner. He's a mirror match corner. But if the adjustment is supposed to be, we want these faster, taller corners that can be in a receiver's pocket and not have to give up a lot of space or have the acceleration to react faster or to recover faster whenever they give up space, so that the zone scheme itself works tighter. Maybe we don't give up a lot of the underneath stuff like we did to Kansas City, because I think they're looking at that as well. But again, so much of this thought process of change is designed around a philosophy that fundamentally is still designed to give up yards.
I think Cognitive Dissonance said earlier in the chat, he said, what we're seeing is what you get when you hire inexperienced coordinators. Well, yes, but see, what I said earlier has to go for them as well. When you have two inexperienced coordinators, I know Brady had a stint in Carolina and in LSU, but when you have inexperienced guys, you have to afford them the latitude to make a mistake, and not chastise them when they do so. Because if we're thinking Joe Brady's going to be here for a minute, if we think Babbage is going to be here for a minute, you got to let them grow. You got to let them learn. And especially on Babbage's side, you got McDermott, but McDermott has to take that next step in his oh boy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No. McDermott has to take that next step in his loosening of the reins, when it comes to Babbage. There's got to be a time when you say, you know what? We're 8-3, we'll say.
Yeah.
And this ain't looking good. I mean, we're going to lose because it's defense, but do your thing, man. Do your thing. Get us out of this. Get us out of it. Rally your troops. And that's what it takes. Of course, when you're in the playoffs, you're not going to do that. But you have to know what you have before you get to that point. And that's what McDermott's not going to understand until he gets burned again.
Yeah.
Because Babbage might have some good ideas. Joe Brady may have some better ideas. But if you commandeer the draft room and you commandeer the meeting rooms all the time, and they can't get their methods in, they can't get their philosophies in. When you're busy doing this over here, that's not their wheelhouse. They're doing it because it's appeasing you. Because you tell them that's what you want to see. I'll give you what you want, which is points. I'll give you what you want, which is a winning defense. But you got to let me do it. Exactly. I liken it to when I tell the story at the time. Ken's heard it. You can turn the TV up if you want. But Mom, we moved into it. She built a house. You know the story, I think. She built a house. And when you build a house in a subdivision, what do? It's all dirt. There's no grass.
Yep.
So you have to water your own grass. They hydroseed it, and the rest is on you. Now, I'm 12 years old. And you see my mom's yard. The thing is humongous. She's like, all right, water it. That's your job. Twice a day. Damn. All right. So I'm out there and I'm doing my thing. She comes out, she gives it to me. What are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you're not doing it right. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not doing it right? It's not getting wet. And I'm like, Mom, it's getting done. She's like, no, it's not. Let me show you how to do it. So she does it now. She's yelling at me the whole time. So in my mind, this is my first step to manhood. I'm just taking it. I'm not saying nothing. What you going to do? Your girlfriend, your wife, your whatever is going to beat up on you for the rest of your life anyway. So, hey, you may as well just learn. So, for whatever reason, she had to.
He cracking up.
It was funny because like way away from the mic, but what happened was she had to go to Home Depot for something, and I was in the front corner. She came back, it was done. She was like, Ain't no way. I said, what do you mean ain't no way? She said, ain't no way you're done. I said, I did the front and back. She's like, no way.
And back? Oh,
And
no,
back.
no. You
Bam. But you know my mom. My mom is the kind of person that has a check, like every little molecule of detail. She went in the back, stepped on it. How did you do it so fast? Because you weren't watching me. I had my own way. But it was right. But this is what she said. I guess I just can't watch you do the stuff you do because you know what you're doing, but I just don't like how you do it. So when McDermott is watching, see, McDermott is watching Brady.
You need to calm down back there. You need to calm down back there. Man, listen.
I'm talking about my mom.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but see that like Kevin said, when you have young coordinators, you can meddle better. That's why him and Dave Ball couldn't stand each other. That's right. But also when you meddle, you have to be a teacher, not just a coach. But you got to say, you know what? I don't know if you. Well, of course you have. But when you're a good trainer, the first step is to step back and see how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do it the way I want you to do it. Let me see how you do it. And I'm going to help you make your way better.
Right.
That's a great trainer. And that's what McDermott has to do. He has to sit back and say, I know where you are with it. Let me tell you why it's not going to work. Not because I know the way, but I can tell you what as a defensive coordinator, especially, I know what I would do to that. And it's not going to work because of this, and the third. Right. And this is why when we talk about McDermott getting fired, I want him to do this so bad. Will he do it? Probably not. But I want that to be the coach that we have. And that's why the disconnect is when people talk about, well, you guys are piling. No, we're not. It's just one is reserved to the fact that it's not going to happen. And the other one is like, it's not happening, but at some point before I die, maybe it will. Because I don't feel like going back through the coaching carousel like most of the people in the chat. But I get it. I understand your point of view, and I understand them as well.
Yeah, Beth says that's literally how you teach, period. Sports, school, etc. Yeah, I mean, look, the idea here is to get better as a coach, right? And one of the things that I said in the in the Discord chat, and I think Laura says she screenshotted it.
She did. Not the screenshot.
I said that for me, the door opening for Sean McDermott is he doesn't have to be fired. He just has to show incremental progression, right? And for me, he went from a first-time head coach that hired a bunch of veteran coaches around him that had been there and done that to a guy that said, okay, enough with these veterans. I'm going to go get my guys that are going to come in and do what I want them to do, because it seems like these other veteran guys are here to do what they want to do so they can go get a job. Right. So forget all that. I'm going to build something the way I want to build it. And I'm going to have it done the way I want it done. Right. So looking at that, okay, well, what's the next progression? Well, the guys that you bring in, you got to develop them. Right. And I think where the criticism from me comes in is for Sean McDermott to not say anything. Either he didn't say anything to his offensive coordinator, or he told his offensive coordinator to run 6 QB sneaks in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. That is not progression for me. Progression for me would have been let your offensive coordinator call some down the field stuff like he did in week 11 against this team.
Right.
Get those guys spread out and let Josh do what he does best. And if they blitz, guess what? There's a bunch of options running around out there to get the ball to. He will find a way. But instead, you put yourself in a position with QB sneaks and all this kind of stuff to need miracle production from your quarterback just to be able to get into position to get a first down.
Right. Not
a field goal, not a touchdown, just first down. We're talking about you struggling that hard with. Right. We already said this in the last episode. The real weakness for the offense last year was not it wasn't. I'm sorry. The real thing, the real weakness for last year's offense was yards.
Right. Yep.
Never mind not adding receiver because you scored points. You've been scoring points the last 5 years. So it wasn't like points was this huge benchmark that you made it to that now you've decided, all right, that's enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So again, look, for Sean, it's about progression. If he's showing consistently that he's giving more and more to his coordinators, that the coordinators are doing more and more, and there's reports coming out of the progression of the coordinators and how he's just letting them learn, then okay, cool.
Right.
Because at that point, I know at the end of the day, if something goes wrong on offense, that's on the offensive coordinator. If something goes wrong on defense, that's the defensive coordinator. But we can't say that. I've never in my life seen Joe Brady call 6 QB sneaks in a game. I've never seen that. You know who I would expect that from? Sean Dan McDermott.
Yeah.
That's who I would expect that from. So, like, look, that's not to say that Sean can never become a Super Bowl winning head coach, but man, the things he needs right now in order to win it. I've seen head coaches come and win it with less.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McVay did it with parts, spare parts from other teams. The foundation of his team wasn't even that great. Offensive line was shaky at best with a pocket quarterback behind him. Defensive line was Aaron Donald, and they added Von Miller on after that. That was it. That was their whole defensive line.
Whoever the F, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Linebackers, who? Name their linebacker. Name their safety. Name a corner.
I don't want no part of that.
You see what I'm saying? But like here, we're like, oh, Trey White, oh, Micah Hyde, oh, Jordan Poyer, all these names that the league is looking at, like, yo, that Bills team is stacked.
The league, yeah.
The league is looking at us for the last 5 years like, this team's going to win the Super Bowl this year. Look at their team.
Yep.
Nobody was saying that about the Rams, and they did it.
Right.
So, again, all of these thoughts are what play into Sean has got to do something. He's got to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, then okay, I'll sit back and watch. I have no issue with that. But when you just continue to do the same thing over and over and put small tweaks in there, like, oh, we're going to add younger defensive linemen. We're going to add more veteran defensive linemen. We're just going to add so many defensive linemen to our defensive line room that it's just going to overwhelm teams with the amount of energy that they have.
Yeah.
You've tried that.
Yeah.
You tried it in 2021.
Yeah. And further proof of this is the fact that they did nothing that I can see to stop the sieve that was. I mean, they were horrible on third and shorts. Third and shorts, they were horrible on. As the yardage grew, as it became a passing down, sure, you had a shot at it. I mean, I think let's see, I have it here. Third and 1 through 3. It was an average of 1.8 yards to go. They allowed 4.6. Third and 4 through 6. We'll say they averaged 4.9 yards a carry. They allowed 6.69. Third and 7 through 9. It was average of 8 yards a play. They allowed 6.8. Third and 10 plus. So it was an average of 13 yards, and they allowed 6. So the further out they went, the better off we were. But when they were in third and running down, we were sunk. And that's the problem. They were in third and running downs more than they were in third and passing.
Yep.
And they didn't do anything to fix it. And that's why the TJ Sanders move for me was like, I thought you said a one tech. I thought you said a one tech, because trading up 15 slots to get him lets me know you want him to play a lot. And he's not a run defender. You trade up 23 slots for Deion Walker, but that's in the 4th round. He could play a lot, maybe. But what are we doing with the guy from last year, Dwayne Carter? What are we doing with, he's too small to play one, but they're like, he could play one. No, he can't. He had a hard time playing against the run. How you gonna play the one tech when you can't even get home on a run on one-on-one defense?
Exactly.
Now you want to put him on a he's gonna get dog walked into the secondary. You may as well give him, who was the number 80? Somebody wore as a safety in here somewhere. Give him that, because it's gonna happen. And Billy D 100%. Coaches, he needs to stop being afraid, because you're gonna mess up.
Mm-hmm.
And the educated Bills fan, anybody come here, I should have said this. No, we're not Bills fans. We appreciate the team. We love the team. We want this team to be great. I'm not going to rah-rah everything they do just because they're them.
Exactly.
And when they mess up, if you can see why they did it, like for instance, the what was that fake punt to DeMar Hamlin? You can't defend that. That was dumb.
Right.
But if if it's Mahomes and you got him on the crucial third and on the ropes and you send a blitz and it backfires, what am I gonna say? You blitzed.
Yeah.
And you tried to get home. You tried to do something you don't usually do. Congratulations.
You know what the key to what you said is, though? The key to what you said is that you referenced that fake punt to Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the time for it.
Exactly.
That was early in the game when you still had a chance defensively to get the ball back. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't need to do it there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what I think the foundational issue is with Sean McDermott in the playoffs in general is his crunch time or his clutch decision making. Like that fake punt, that's a call that the head coach has to approve in order to get put out there, especially with the way Sean McDermott runs this team. Again, for those of you who have not read the Tyler Dunn report, you need to go do that, or just hop in the Discord chat and ask me questions about it. I read the entire thing. I can tell you whatever you want to know about it. But when you read that report of what players in the building, what staff in the building, ex-coaches, current coaches, ex-players, current players, like the picture you get is of someone who is a micromanager. Again, you stated this today. Like, that's one of the issues between him and Daboll is the micromanagement. So you can't tell me, and this is specifically for you, Spin, you can't tell me that the six QB sneaks in the AFC Championship game is not, all right, it's third down, 3rd and 1. And Sean doesn't click his little button on QB sneak. And Joe Brady's like, all right, what's Joe Brady going to say? Right. He already got booted out after 1 year from Matt Rule, who was basically the same guy as Sean McDermott with no quarterback. Same dude. Like that, you know what I'm saying? So again, it's not like we're nitpicking at what Sean McDermott does. It's documented that he influences the coordinators, that he pushes onto them what he wants to see in a game. He does the same thing with players. So it's not unheard of that this Joe Brady offense that we're seeing that has some aspects of an air raid defense that Joe Brady usually likes to run with a large amount of efficiency built into it to appease Sean McDermott in terms of the run game. So like, that's not a surprise. Every other place that we've seen Joe Brady run an offense, it's been the opposite of what we saw here. The exact opposite. Everything downfield, everything blazing and firing on, you know what I'm saying? LSU too. So it's not right. It's not a coincidence, people. We got to stop looking at this like Sean McDermott is just the head coach. No, there is factual information out there, reports, documentation showing you that this dude is a micromanager. Here's the deal, though. That doesn't mean that he can't back up from that. As Laura said, he has loosened up to a degree, I think, during the regular season for sure. But in the playoffs, though.
Well, when you see Kansas City. Something about seeing Andy Reid and this chicken nuggets. He's like, clinch up. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Right.
Like, just, you know what I would do if I was the Bills? Because, chances are we're going to be seeing the Chiefs again this year.
Oh, yeah.
I would play over and over and over again Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes doing this when we beat them in the regular season. Because that, to me, I was like, oh, man, they know something. And they said in the press conference, we did everything we could not to give everything we could. We wanted to win, but we didn't want to give everything up. So that's why they weren't mad. Bravo.
Yeah. That's
and
exactly what they seem like. We'll see him again.
Right. And now I want you guys to, not the fans, not us, but I want you guys, the Bills, to think about that moment and what that meant. That meant that they weren't pulling out the phasers and all the stuff, whatever Star Trek-y terms are. They were giving you the little rockets. They were giving you the little precursors. They weren't giving you the main event. They were just giving you an appetizer. And, the Bills go off the field. We beat them. The fans like, yeah, we won. They're like, but did you?
Right.
Because one, that wasn't even really our game plan. When we see you later, we're going to do something different. And I think, to Roy's question, how many head coaches out there really do micromanage? How many good ones? Because that's probably why the teams are bad. They micromanage. The Bills just happen to have a bad Division 1, have a great quarterback 2, have an offense that loves to play for each other, and a defense that loves to play for each other. See, that's where the culture comes in. Is the guys that are average to above average, a couple really good ones, but for the most part, they just play with each other, and they play tough for each other, and I don't know if you heard Jordan Poyer on his interview with Mitch Morse on, I think, NFL Network, Good Morning Football. I don't know what it was, one of those shows, but he said, you know, he was talking about how he had to drive to the game in Kansas City. He's like, yo, that was nothing. He said, we got cleared to play. I rented an RV, and I said, wife, he said, my wife said, I guess we're driving, huh? He's like, you know, we driving. But he said out of his mouth, I wouldn't have did that last year for the Dolphins. He said, I wouldn't have did that for the Dolphins. That wasn't going to happen. You know, and he said a lot of things about the Dolphins that he won't regret, because one, he can say that he wants to retire if he really has to, if nobody wants him. But the thing is, it just tells you how players feel about the Bills. And I can't knock them for it. You know, as much as it nauseates me sometimes that I love you this, I love you that, I want this, we love each other, bro. Okay. For me, as I talked about earlier, I'm already a curmudgeon. What do we do, Cognizant? What do we do? How are we getting you worked up? What did I do to you this time? We are being so positive that I can't even stand myself right now.
Right. Exactly. Like even with the negative stuff we say, we're like sprinkling a little bit of whipped cream on it, and
like, you mother flood puckers suck. You ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, but you can be better though.
But you can be better. Yeah.
Right.
Columbus Bully says Sirianni was considered a bad coach around Philadelphia, and then they won it all. He got into it with the fans at one point. Hey, yeah, because he wasn't PC. See, he was human, and that's the side that Buffalo can't handle. Buffalo can't handle a human side, because as soon as somebody shows you their human self, unless they are like Josh Allen, and Josh Allen, I believe, is probably one of the nicest people in the world, you know, and I think that they know that. And I think that that's the thing that gets you over in Buffalo. Not just an act, but that's the kind of player that's always going to be here forever and a day.
Yeah.
You have to be personable. You have to be agreeable. You have to be signing all the autographs. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I love there. But everybody's not like that. But everybody that's not like that there are some players that can really play and can help your ball club out. You know, I would love to have seen if McDermott would have brought in George Pickens. Work with that.
Yeah.
Because that is a hell of a lot of talent with a hell of a lot of headache.
Yep.
Work with that. If you can do that, I can see why you do what you do now.
Yep. I think that's one of the reasons why Tomlin has had the job as long as he's had, because if you look at some of the players that he's dealt with, Antonio Brown, George Pickens, James Harrison, your boy, who's the linebacker, Joey Porter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
what's running back? Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. He's dealt with players that a lot of teams would be like, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's won with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, minus George Pickens, because he really he didn't have a quarterback. Nothing we could, really do to fix that situation. But look, I would want to have one of those head coaches that the league looks at and says, oh, this guy's a problem, but you know who could handle that? Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have that. You know why? Because the reason why I would love that is you essentially aren't cutting anything off the table in terms of what your head coach can't handle. That means the entire draft pool is open to your head coach. It just really comes down to who your head coach thinks fits what the offense needs best and fits what the defense needs best. And you know what that's going to lead to? That's going to lead to eliteness on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. We've seen the Steelers have elite defenses in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the Steelers have elite offenses, the Killer Bees, in my lifetime. Now, the only reason that Killer Bees offense didn't win anything is because they still had Tom Brady hanging over their heads.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and even then, if it wasn't for Brady, they had Peyton Manning hanging over their head. So I'm saying all that to say that was a team that Mike Tomlin led,
mm-hmm.
with a veteran Ben Roethlisberger and a bunch of like dogs that may not have had the best personality, but guess what? When it came to winning games, they knew what to do on Sundays.
That offensive line they had, pound season of it goes. Come on now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, like, for me, it's like, yo, until I see Sean McDermott willing to do stuff like that,
yeah,
and get away from this, well, I only want good old boys in here, I'm sorry. Like, I can't get behind the culture from that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
The culture needs to be able to accommodate all personalities, because you believe that your leadership in the locker room and your head coach can manage all that.
And that should tell you right now, there, Diggs wasn't that bad of a person.
Yeah.
Because not only did they bring him in after they vetted him, they extended him.
Exactly.
and they extended him technically twice.
Yeah.
So something went wrong, and I think it was a Coach D it had to be Coach D that alluded to the fact that it wasn't McDermott that Diggs really fell out with.
Right.
That wasn't that. So maybe that would explain why he's concerned, because it ain't got nothing to do with me. He beefing with somebody else, and I think you guys can deduce who that is. But I think Cognitive said the vision isn't that bad. Okay, let's go through this exercise. Last year, the Bills were 13-4. Miami was 8-9, and then New York was 5-2. New England 4-13. Now, put them in the AFC North. Baltimore was 12-5. Pittsburgh was 10-7. Cincy was 9-8. Cleveland was 3-14. If you put them in AFC West, Kansas City 15-2. The Chargers 11-6. Denver 10-7. If you want to go into the AFC East, to the NFC, Philly was 14-3. Washington was 12-5. NFC North, Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay all won more than 10 games. NFC West, the top two teams won 10 games. So how would the Bills be with these kind of competitions, with teams that are winning 10 games behind them? Miami, they get the benefit of beating up on the Jets and the Patriots. So they have 8 wins. I don't know how many they won last year. I'm guessing they split. Doesn't really matter, but the point still holds. The division itself takes care of itself, and the Bills just can't fall apart. Is this the hardest? Is this the easiest division? I won't say that, not at all. But what I'm saying is the division helps out a lot, and that's why once you get out of the division, you start to see and you start to worry. I mean, when Baltimore came out of the AFC North, they're sitting there like, yo, we fought all year long. What can go wrong? We can see anything.
Right.
But when the Bills go to playoffs, like, oh snap, oh no, who do we have? Because it's not the division. It's not an easier team. Yeah. And there are people here that like Matt used to do. They're winning this. Like, how are you so confident? I'm pissing down my leg right now. How are you confident? Right. But he's just stalwart. They're gonna win. I'm like, I want to be like you when I get older. Yeah. Because like I get emotional. I get stressed out. See, my thing is, I don't know if anybody in here was a former athlete and you feel like me, where you're not used to the reins being let go, and you're at the mercy of other guys doing stuff. See, when I played basketball, the last shot was mine. So I was determining whether we won or lost. But now when I watch the Bills, I ain't got no dogs in the race. I can't push a button. I can't hit the X button, the circle button, and I gotta watch Josh Allen. Please don't throw. Oh, you missed it. Okay, I'm turning it down. I'm gonna go get something to drink. I got another beer. That's me all day long. Yeah. And that's why I don't like watching with people, because people they stress me out. They stress me out. I get scared. Tia tells you like, yo, calm down. Are you good? I'm like, no, I'm not good. I'm going through things here. King goes in the back. I'm like stressed, and I'm not a yeller. I'm not very loud when it comes to that. But when I can't control it, and I'm at the mercy of what I don't know and I can't understand, it drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts.
This show saves Caitlin a lot of stress. Because I used to be unconsolable for hours after the game, if not days after the game. Like before we started doing this show, I would hold on to losses and all the frustration that I felt, and listening to the radio on Monday and Tuesday and hearing the press conference stuff and being even more pissed off at that stuff. I wouldn't be over a loss until Thursday.
Right.
And maybe Wednesday, because once I got into fantasy football, that Wednesday is like, you get to find out if you got your you check the waiver wire and see if you got the players you're looking for and stuff like that. But I want to get to this comment by Laura. She says, I don't know if the take any good player, red flags be damned is what I'd want. You can't coach the killer out of an Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, but I mean, how many of those are there?
So
how many of those are there?
Yeah, and that's basically where I was getting to. But I want to say it like this, and Laura, for the sake of my life, I'm not talking to you specifically when I say the words you. So please don't send a bomb to the studio, please. But if let's approach it this way. If Aaron Hernandez had never committed a murder ever, do you think the way that his career started and the way that Patriots offense looked, he might go down as one of the best tight ends to ever do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely think so. Do we think that the combination of Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski would have been perhaps the best tight end combination ever to play the game of football? Yes, I do, 100%. Do we think that offense could have gone on to win consecutive championships with how dominant they were when those two were playing ball? Yeah, 100%. Now, here's the other part we have to think about when we think about the what ifs of Aaron Hernandez, because it doesn't have to just be a what if about Aaron Hernandez. Do we think that at any point in time, Tony Gonzalez, and please, this is not a smear campaign. Do we think that at any point Tony Gonzalez didn't pay a girl off to have an abortion? Do we think that Antonio Gates didn't kick a girl, or punch some random guy on the street for calling him a bum because he doesn't like the Chargers? Right. Do we think that any of these other players have never done anything wrong in their lives that they couldn't be prosecuted for? Mm-hmm. I think the issue here is, in the same way that Matt Araiza lost his job over somebody saying something, Hernandez just happened to do it.
He about that life.
Right? He just happened to do it. But that doesn't mean that there aren't 17 other guys in the league on 17 other teams that haven't done something bad. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is, just don't let it be murder.
Yeah. Basically.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these great players that we've seen, TJ Watt, like, we act like they've never done anything wrong because they're great players. Like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? So again, the thought process, I don't think should be red flags be damned. It should be, look, this guy has had he's had a history. We believe that the culture we establish here with these men and this leadership will influence him out of whatever negative stuff that he's in. That's one of the things when I was a supervisor, like, that's the culture that I always tried to establish. When you get in here with us, you leave all that old stuff behind. That ain't you no more. Now you're a part of this culture. Now this is how you operate. Now this is the way you work. Now this is what you think. That's how it should be. This idea that you have to come pre-packaged and ready-made for a team, that doesn't, it hasn't worked.
See, I like what Beth said. No murder, no predators, no pedophile. I can deal with that. I can deal. But see, that's not all clean. See, there's more levels to it.
Exactly.
There's more. Have you ever had a DUI? Have you ever had this? Have you ever had this? It's like, see, that's the difference, and I don't. Outside looking in, do we think LT wasn't doing drugs during? We know he was. He said he was.
Right.
He said he was playing the game, thinking about getting cocaine later on. He said it. I mean, point blank. And now Spin's running down OJ Simpson. Like, that was, what was that? That was he stopped playing and when. So that whole ordeal happened in 93, 94. Mm-hmm. So about 20 years after 15 years after he stopped playing, we'll just be generous here. I don't remember when Big Head stopped playing, but Ray Lewis, he didn't do it. We know that already.
If you have a body, please exit the lobby.
That's right. Get out. But yeah, no, but for the Roy thing, I didn't say that. I saw you, Roy. He said, to my point about playing outside of the division, he said, so you saying we don't have 11 other games that are outside of the division? Okay, let's run that down real quick. Let's see. So Arizona, they went 8-9 last year. San Francisco, 6-11. Who else did we play? Tennessee was 3-14. Who else did we play? Seattle. Seattle was 10-7, so they were good. Mm-hmm. The Colts. The Colts were 8-9. Detroit, we already know that story with them. Denver was a good team. Houston fell apart. The Rams were good. And the Chiefs. So, I mean, yeah, but if you're almost given 6 games, I just named you 5 more games they won. That's 11 right there. All you got to do is split another 2 out of the next 6, mm-hmm. and you're in the playoffs. And that's more or less what they did. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, they're not playing in the Big Sky conference, but there are other divisions out there that you have to really prove your mettle in.
Yeah. Cognitive dissonance says, don't compare the ish Hernandez did to drunken shenanigans.
Oh, we not.
I'm about to poke a big 3-finger hole through that bad boy. Listen.
You gonna
Answer.
what?
Junie's awake. Junie's up.
I love it.
That's our new AO button.
Yes, it is.
So let me ask you this. For all you people out there with all these standards, okay?
Because we have none.
Yeah, right. All these standard Buffalonians, Buffalo Bills fans. If the Bills were in the Super Bowl and we found out an hour before the Super Bowl that Josh Allen had shot and killed somebody by accident when he was 12. And you know there's no statute of limitations on murder. Darn. He shot and killed somebody in a hunting accident when he was 12, and they finally figured out it was Josh Allen. Would you want them to arrest Josh Allen before the Super Bowl?
Josh probably saying, like, how does he know?
Realistically, answer that question, because I can guarantee a lot of you are stuck right now in your moral, figuring out what the balance is there, because murder is wrong, but we got a chance to win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. There's a conflict there. And the reason I'm putting everybody in conflict like that is so that we can all just take a step back and understand that morals are one thing, and the idea of perfect morals are a different thing. And I think when people are looking at, this comment of, well, don't compare what Aaron Hernandez did to drunken shenanigans. Listen, good book that I read says a sin is a sin is a sin. Like it is what it is across the board. So it's not like let's
clear that up. Okay, so if he was arrested for involuntary manslaughter,
okay,
you good with that? Just go with the example, because
fine.
He cooking here, and y'all just tearing the shreds.
Look. Here it is right here. Hunting accident is not purposeful. The intent. Listen. How do they say it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. It matters not what the intentions were. The action the action committed, regardless of the cause, will still get you locked up. Period. So again, this is why I'm putting everybody in conflict, because I'm trying to get all of you to take a look at self and kind of realize, like, this idea that this culture the Bills have is something wonderful to hold on to, because just for the sake of it being good and wholesome, it's not winning games. Aaron Hernandez was on the track to win a lot of games. Mm-hmm. And if we had found out after he retired that he was a murderer, I think the Patriots fans would still be happy with all the rings that they won with Aaron Hernandez on the team. Think about how Bills fans felt about O.J. Simpson. He had already been gone after that. It was easy to get down on that guy. Oh, no, he murdered. No. He good. He good. But what if he was still on the team? I'm sure a lot of people would be pissed because that's our best player. Like, that's how Patriots fans were probably feeling at the time. Mm-hmm. The name of the game is objectivity, people. It can't be just one hard stance across the board. It can't. That's part of the reason why, like, especially because of the encouragement from Laura. I've been trying to not take such a hard stance on Sean McDermott.
Like, Laura did this?
It was Laura's fault. It was Laura's fault.
Yeah.
But again, this thing about, man, we don't want no bad seeds in the locker room. Why? You think one bad seed is gonna ruin the whole locker room? Yeah. One? George Pickens is gonna come in and ruin this locker room. Stephon Diggs wasn't the issue.
Yeah, I don't think George Pickens could come in and tear down what they built in a year. I think that's the thing. He's on a rookie deal. He's a free agent after this season. I mean, obviously, we don't know if the Bills were in on it. I'm not going to say that they weren't. I don't believe they were, just because of how they do business. But for what it's worth, I think the Bills would like to not, dance down that road. And so anybody that's still liking, go here.
No,
Right there.
look. Cognitive dissonance is not feeling me right now.
He is pissed at you. Go ahead and subscribe for me, not him. Me.
Hey,
No.
look. Billy D said nobody likes to look at self. Look. Cognitive dissonance. I get it. When you, because he's saying it does matter. Intent matters. That's why your state of mind is a huge part of the charging standards. Okay. But at the end of the day, what's the final verdict? The final verdict is guilty, whether you're doing 5 years or 1 year, right? I mean, if all intent gives you is consideration in how long the grudge is held against you, and by how long the grudge, I mean how many years of jail time you get, then what does it matter when I'm still going to jail either way? If you ask a criminal what he would rather do, would he rather get off free and not have to go to jail, or take a deal and do 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
They want to go free. Everybody wants to go free. Nobody is going into a situation like that saying, you know what, I'd rather take the jail time than risk going free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if free is on the table, everybody's going for free, right? So this idea, again, I get all of the caveats and the ways that we're trying to paint what Aaron Hernandez did, and the scenario that I gave y'all is involuntary and he didn't mean to do it. Both guys, Aaron Hernandez and Josh Allen, still do jail time in both cases. At the end of the day, they are guilty in both cases. There is no, well, Josh Allen didn't mean to shoot the guy, so let's just let him play football. Yeah. That's not happening. And that's really all I'm saying. If that makes me out of line, then go talk to a lawyer, because they deal with way worse, and they argue way worse situations than what I just presented. I'm not trying to be a lawyer. I'm just trying to get people to just kind of just take a step back from this hard stance on culture is going to be the thing that wins. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen any other team do it like this. And the Bills haven't done it like this. This is the year to do it, though. If they're going to do it, the stars have aligned. This is the year to do it.
And I think that was the best way to transition to the point of the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, you know, with regards to the thumbnail, you're talking about what did it say? Was it Boomer Bust, Joshua Palmer? I'm going to give him all the respect in the world.
I'm not going to say it. I wrote it, but I'm not going to say, I'm going to say Josh Palmer, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but I'm not going to be fixing my mouth just because somebody likes to hear their name a certain way.
You could just say Palmer, I guess, because I started writing Palmer. I'm like, yeah, I'm not typing up. I'll say Joshua, but I ain't typing it.
So there was an article that wait, how does that work? So I won't say it, but you won't type it.
Right.
See that? This is how much you value texting, and this is how much I value talking.
Right.
There is a difference between texting and saying it. Keys the definition of it, and Pops is
absolutely. So there was an article. I want to make sure I give this credit. Let me see here.
Look at you giving people credit. How professional is that?
I might as well. So this is from SI.com.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Lesher.
Mm-hmm.
Lesher. I hope I'm saying that right.
It's cool.
Oh wait, no. This is the wrong one.
Well, while he's finding that, if you would be so kind, head on over to YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe, so we know you're watching. We want to know you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing.
You can actually in there.
All right, so I'm sorry. It was Randy Gurzy that wrote this article.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that he referenced is NFL insider Mike Clay. Okay, now Mike Clay projected for Joshua Palmer. That's why I hate saying it, because it makes me say Palmer weird.
Palmer.
Yeah, Joshua Palmer. I can't not say it that way when I say Joshua. If I say Josh Palmer.
J. Palm.
Yeah, if I can say Josh Palmer. That's how I prefer to say it, Josh Palmer. So anyway, Mike Clay projected for Josh Palmer. He projected for this season his production is going to be 35 catches, 417 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns.
For $12 million a season.
By a show of hands, how many people are signing up for that right now?
For $12 million.
Put it in the chat. Show me hands for everybody that would take 35 catches, 417 yards, and 3 touchdowns for how much?
$12 million.
$12 million. I'll wait.
Yeah, and before we go down the road of negativity again, we didn't say this. This is something that was written in an article.
Yep.
You know, nobody in their right mind is gonna subscribe to 34 catches,
35 catches,
35 catches, 400 yards.
Yeah,
that's measly and pathetic.
Absolutely. So here's what I did.
Papa put his hand up. Papa's at me. Papa is a resistance.
Yeah, right. He got into the membership just to oppose us on a regular basis. Right. Yeah. Like, everything you say, I'm saying the opposite. Bev says no. Cognitive dissonance says meh. I mean, Kev says hell no. Mm-hmm. Cognitive dissonance says I had a problem with what we paid Palmer at first, but his contract is closer to a 9 year to 9 a year.
Okay, so still 9. Would you do you want that for 9? Because that's
Curtis Samuel.
About what Curtis Samuel gives you. Yeah. So I mean,
we're
duplicated.
We're sitting here saying Curtis Samuel needs to step it up.
Yeah, or we can trade him. How can we trade Curtis Samuel? That's what everybody said. How can we trade him?
Right. So here's what I did. I actually went and did a deep dive on all of our receivers, but I started with Josh Palmer.
Ooh, let's get into it.
I wanted to look at what the Bills might have seen in Josh Palmer and what they see and like what they're looking for specifically, because this is a very analytic led team in terms of the moves they make, the offense they run, the defense they run. A lot of the stuff they do is built around analytics almost exclusively. Mm-hmm. Like I'm realizing with all the research that we've been doing the last 2 years, it's almost obsessive the way that these guys are harp at, like every little thing that they do is about the analytics, right? So anyway, there's a such stat called success rate for wide receivers. You heard that? Mm-hmm. So I'll explain that really quick for those of you that don't know. Success rate for a wide receiver is a reception of at least 40% of the yards needed on first down, 60% of the yards needed on second down, and 100% of the yards needed on third or fourth down. Okay. So what that speaks to is a wide receiver's ability to get most of the yardage, if not all the yardage they need for a first down on any given play. Basically, that's the summation of that description right there. Right now, what this means for Josh Palmer. Let's start with Justin Jefferson. Okay, I think people would widely regard either Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase as the best in the league in terms of, like they're the best receivers, mm-hmm. right? By comparison, Justin Jefferson had a success rate of, let me just make sure I'm looking at this one. So the best success rate that Justin Jefferson had in his career was his rookie season at 61.6%. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time, 61.6%. The next best season of success rate that he had was 2023 with Kirk Cousins, where he had 61% even success rate. Okay. His average over his entire career, his success rate average over his entire career is 58.2. Hold on to that number. Okay.
I got more numbers too. I'm glad you brought these people up into this.
All right.
Glad.
All right, cool. We're gonna get into it. So for Josh Palmer, his best season for his success rate was his first 2 seasons in LA. Both of those seasons, he had a success rate of 55.1%. I'm sorry. His best, those were his first 2 seasons. Those weren't his best. Forgive me. His best season was 2024 last year. His success rate was 53.8. Okay. His average for his career is 53.2. All right. Now, those of you saying, well, that's significantly less than what Justin Jefferson had and what Jamar Chase had. There are 2 receivers that were taken in the draft the round after Joshua Palmer were taken. Okay. One of them was Nico Collins. Do you know what Nico Collins' success rate was? I'll tell it to you right now. His best his best was 61.5 in 2023. That was his best. And that was his first year with CJ Stroud, right? Last season, it was 56.6 for his career. For his career. I think a lot of people right now would say Nico Collins is a better receiver than Josh Palmer, right? I think everybody would agree with that. His average for his career, 53.9. Sounds very familiar. Sounds pretty close to what Josh Palmer had, right? There was another receiver that was taken after Josh Palmer, right? A guy by the name of Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Who that?
If you don't know, you about to find out. Now, Amon-Ra had a success rate. Now, this is a little different. I need to preface this. Slot receivers are a little bit different with their success rate.
Mhm.
Okay, so that needs to be considered in what I'm about to tell you. Now, and I'll show you another example of that for the Bills in a second. The success rate for Amon-Ra St. Brown, his highest was last year with Jared Goff at 70.2, right? His average for his career, 63.5. Okay, so now I'm going to compare that to a Buffalo Bills receiver. All of you should know who it is by now. Khalil Shakir. Okay, Khalil Shakir's best season was 2023. His success rate was 73.3%. If I'm not mistaken, that is better than Amon-Ra St. Brown's best year. Would anybody say Khalil Shakir is a better receiver than Amon-Ra St. Brown? Based on this, they should be.
You know what? And that's what I think about when I always say the reason why we underestimate the guy is because he's ours.
Mm-hmm.
If Khalil Shakir was somewhere else, like, yo, why didn't we get that?
Yep.
Why didn't we get that? Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalil, they're the same guy. This is how they're being utilized.
Exactly.
Khalil Shakir is inside, outside. They only put him inside. Why can't you put him outside? Because we don't want to. Because he's good here. Switch it up.
Yep.
I mean, you can sacrifice him sometimes to get Keon Coleman some burn, to get somebody Curtis Samuel some burn. But will they do it? That's the question.
Yep.
And to your point, like you said, I love Khalil Shakir. I think he's the number one guy. I do think he's the number one, a low end number one, but I think he can do anything you ask him to do. And he's shown it. He can go deep. He got toe to, he got body control. He got the high point. He's got great hands. He's got yak yardage. What doesn't he have except size?
Yep.
And because he's in Buffalo, it's like, oh, we still need to. No, and that's why once again I put that tweet out that said Khalil Shakir is Batman and Keon Coleman is Robin. Find the other piece, because the other piece, the number one, doesn't really need to be number one. He just needs to do something. He needs to be a route runner. I think Dorothy said she wants somebody that's got to go pew. And for me, pew. Josh don't throw those. He doesn't throw them well. I'm sorry. Come for me. Look it up. Trust me. He doesn't. He has a strong arm. He can throw outside the stadium, but he does not have a good deep ball. And yes, the numbers go down slightly the further you go from the line of scrimmage, but he just can't do it. Dawson Knox, not Knox, Kincaid's drop. Yes. It was on Kincaid, but that was another one of those passes that he missed all year long. Every time they try to connect on that kind of play, it was short. It happened the same way because Kincaid came back. He stopped where he was and had to come back to the ball, make a play. He's had to do it every time and never did. Yeah. So you can put blame on both of them. It just happened to be a high stakes moment when you say, just catch the damn ball, Kincaid. He never did. So why do you think he's going to do it there?
Right.
It's on tape. He's not going to catch that.
Yep.
So yeah, to your point, I think, I didn't want to commandeer it, but yeah, I think Khalil Shakir is definitely slept on. Definitely by our coaching staff.
100%. 100%. I mean, I think everybody knows he's the number one receiver on this team. You just got to use him like the Lions use Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue with that is if you do that 2 years later, the fans and the player might be saying, I need more money.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Comparatively for Khalil Shakir, if we're comparing Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalil Shakir to Justin Jefferson, I'm going to remind you, Justin Jefferson's success rate is 58.2, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown's is 63.5. He's gotten a lot more usage in terms of, targets and all that kind of stuff. So his targets for all 4 of his years that he's played is 570. And actually I was wrong. So Justin Jefferson gets a lot more targets.
Mm-hmm.
Who was I looking at for this? Okay. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Back to the comparison of Khalil Shakir and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know why I just jumped to Justin Jefferson. So Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalil Shakir. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, 570 targets, a success rate of 63.5% for his career. Khalil Shakir, 165 targets over 3 years. His 4-year total wouldn't even be close to what Amon-Ra St. Brown gets in terms of targets.
Right.
Not even close. And Khalil Shakir's career success rate is 57.
Yeah.
57. As close as he is to Amon-Ra St. Brown with a third of the targets. He's easily slept on.
And
right?
the thing about Khalil Shakir, I'm sorry to keep cutting you off, but the thing about Khalil Shakir is this. Where were most of his targets this year? At the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
So how's your success rate? 53%. Was that what it was, right? 53, you said this year?
For Khalil?
Yeah.
Last year was 53%.
53%. Yep. Think about what he had to do to be successful.
Yep.
Think about what it took for him to get that rating. That is astronomical when you think about the yards. His average depth of target was like basically in Josh's face. Another 4 inches, he could just hand it to him.
Yep.
And yes, Ben, you're 100% right. I think Khalil Shakir, he played 26% of snaps. So yeah, but I mean that's the thing. 72% of snaps still in the slot. When you have that kind of talent and you got somebody on the other side who's struggling to get off, you can use him to bring Keon in. You can use him to bring Curtis Samuel into the fold. Because the problem what we have now is why we didn't take some of the receivers in the draft because they're a slot guy. We didn't take Ladd McConkey because he's a slot guy. Now think about Ladd McConkey in the slot next to Khalil Shakir on the outside. I mean, think about what you could do if you just decide, let me just move him over a little bit. Let me try to draw something up where the play might not be going to him. Right. But at least they know because they know where he is. He's almost like Diggs now. They're like, who else we had to worry about? Him. And that's why when he didn't play, that's why it looked the way it did. Because they're like, oh, bet he's not playing. I know exactly what I'm about to do.
Yep. Big Papa Bill says there's a reason Amon makes over double the amount Shakir got. Why is that?
I just told you what that is. The way they utilize him. It don't make him better. It just means they utilize him better.
Right. That's really all it is. I just told you Khalil Shakir has a third of the targets that Amon-Ra St. Brown has. Here's the other thing. Khalil Shakir, when the Bills were throwing downfield, he has the best success rate of any of these receivers that I've named. Nico Collins, his best success rate, his best success rate was 61.5. Amon-Ra St. Brown, his best success rate is 70.2. Like of his career, that's the best success rate he had was last year, 70.2. Khalil Shakir's got better than that. Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league, highest success rate he had, 61.6%. Let's pull up Jamar Chase. I can pull up Jamar Chase really easy, and we can go and check Jamar Chase. His success rate, his best success rate for his career is 62.3%. 62. 11 points less than Khalil Shakir's best success rate. So look, if you use these guys, because here's the other part, and part of the reason why I wanted to bring Josh Palmer up as like the lead-in for this topic is this is a guy that in LA was, according to the success rate, their second best receiver the entire time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy ahead of him was Keenan Allen, who played in the slot, which again is why I told everybody to make sure that you hold a little asterisk for those guys that play in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deal. For Khalil Shakir to have the success rate that he had, the 73%, and a third of the targets that Amon-Ra St. Brown has, with 3 times the targets and usage, people I wish I knew a better way to explain how huge that is.
Right.
I really do. Because right now, on paper, according to the analytics, and success rate is one of those like advanced analytics that people look at. You look at Keon Coleman, his success rate for his career right now, and it's only been one season, but his success rate is 43.9%. That's not super low when you compare it to the other receivers. When you look at Elijah Moore for his career, for all 4 of his years, 41.4%, right? But again, consider who he had throwing the ball, right? You got Elijah Moore in here for 1 year at $5 million. Curtis Samuel's best success rate for his season was 53.6 in 2020. You know who his quarterback was?
Who's this? Who is this?
Carolina.
Was it Darnold?
Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater was his quarterback in 2020. He had a success rate of 53.6%. That's the year that he had 97 targets, 77 catches, 851 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
And for Roy, just once again, success rate is measured. A successful reception gains at least 40% of the yards required on first down, 60% of the yards required on second, 100% of the yards required on third or fourth down. Denominator is targets. So that's what the success rate. It's another of those analytical stats that they come out with the next gen type deal. So hope that helps. And if needs, we can get a pen and pad out and try to break this down together.
We got a whiteboard. You want to go to the whiteboard?
Oh, can I run like Kenny the Jet?
Yeah.
My knees not.
I just got to turn one of these cameras.
Oh man, my knees not. Junie come up from the back and race me to it and I fall.
I be feeling so bad every time I see him do it too, bro. I'm like, yo, why do they keep doing this man like that, knowing his knees ain't working right?
My knees
I'd be like Shaq and just race you,
the whole way, boy. They just be smacking.
He just fell. But I think to your point, and I don't know if you got these numbers, but you know, what is the one thing that everybody says Buffalo can't do? The receivers. It starts with an S. Separate.
Yeah.
The names you just mentioned, why was that big to me? Scary Terry. He gets busy, don't he?
Yes, he do.
2.7 yards of separation average last year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who you just talked about, 3.1. Jamar Chase, 3. Lad McConkey, Mr. Slot Maven himself, 3.1. DK Metcalf, everybody wanted him because he can separate, 2.6. Now, Khalil Shakir was number 2 in the league, 4.3. Now, you go there, and then you look at, let's see. I have Laviscus. No, I'm not going to do it because he didn't have a lot of catches. Josh Palmer, 2.6. So everybody say he can separate like a mofo, right? 2.6. It's whatever. He's a route running technician, but he actually does not get open. You know, he knows how to run routes. He knows how, but his separation is not there.
Right.
Keon Coleman, 2 yards. So yeah, Keon has to bring it up some. Elijah Moore was 3.1. So by that metric, we didn't do anything better. And you know what's funny about your success rate talk? And I was looking at it while you were talking about it, and I don't think you shine a proper light on it because people they look at who we had last year and say, oh, well, you know, we can do better. I'm not going to do Tyrell Shavers because he had 1 catch for 69 yards.
Okay.
But Dawson Knox success rate 63.6. Ray Davis 63.2. Ty Johnson 60.60 on the nose. Guess who number 5 is? The first wide receiver of note on this list. Mac Hollins.
Wow.
Mac Hollins had more of a success rate than Dalton Kincaid, Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir, James Cook, Quentin Morris, Zach Davidson, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, then Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
Yeah.
So I think when you look at the success rate, you look at the stuff that matters, this tells you right now, we might have the game all wrong. You know, and the Bills might have it all wrong too because their target distribution is off. More averaging 8.8 a catch with four horrible Dartwater quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's exactly the reason why I suggested that guy before free agency. He was one of the guys I targeted as one of those cap friendly guys that the Bills can go get. I mean, his separation, and I knew Josh Palmer was a separator too. I watched him play all last year, and I watched tape on him and stuff like that too. But look, part of the reason the reason I'm bringing all this stuff up is to kind of, you know what? I'll just be disrespectful. I'm spitting on Mike Clay's point. His projection, I'm spitting on it because to me, I don't understand how you can look at these numbers and just project that this guy is gonna do Curtis Samuel numbers with the kind of money he's making. Now, the part that gets fishy on this and the part where I could be sticking my foot in my mouth is I thought Curtis Samuel was going to be a number 2 receiver when he came in making the money he's making.
You did, and that's fine.
You know what I'm saying? So I could end up to be absolutely wrong about this point. But again, when you look at what the Bills needed in the AFC Championship game and what they were able to get this year twice is 2 guys that on that down can get out and separate and give the quarterback a spot to throw to and make a play. And not just from the inside, but from the outside. So now you have two guys that you can put out there on 4th and 5, on top of Khalil Shakir, on top of a Dawson Knox, on top of a Kincaid, and just go 5 wide out there. Let's go 5 wide. And now you've got guys that all over the field that can separate. No matter, one of those guys is going to get open, and Josh can process fast enough to get the ball there. So look, I'm not saying that Josh Palmer is going to be an all-star. I'm not saying that any of these guys is going to be an all-star. Based on the way that the Bills sound like they want to continue to use these guys, the total for Josh Palmer might be somewhere closer to 600-700 yards and maybe 6 touchdowns like Mac Hollins got. Like something like that might be more of what we look at for him. But that would also mean that Khalil Shakir is getting another 800 yards and probably another 7 touchdowns. And you got another receiver well, I think Keon Coleman is the number 2 receiver right now on the depth chart, which I thought was kind of interesting because they have Elijah Moore backing up Josh Palmer. And then they have Caden Prather backing up Keon Coleman. And then they have Curtis Samuel backing up Khalil Shakir on the depth chart right now.
And for I saw y'all asking, and I'm going to answer it now. Isaiah Bond, no, there's no news on Isaiah Bond. Literally, when I just looked it up just now, it said the first thing I saw was, should he not go to jail? What are the best team fits for him?
Jeez.
That's all I need to know. I'm not going to click on it because I don't need to.
Well, okay, realistically, everybody, would you take Isaiah Bond at this point? With let's say he doesn't do jail time, but he has to pay. Perfect. He's got to pay a fine or something.
Perfect. Like I mean, this goes into this actually fits into your hypothesis earlier about cognitive. Of course, you're the guy. But no, this fits into it.
Well, you stepped it in now. Go ahead, Keith.
But no, I would take him. But I'm also the guy that would have taken Mike Vick off the dog thing. I would have taken, I would have never got rid of, because when we had punt guy, I call him that now, I guess. I didn't want the draft,
right?
But we had him like ain't no proof of nothing yet. Why you cutting him? What are we doing? Let it play out. If you lose him, you lose him. I mean, Isaiah Bond, if he's free, bring him in. Just what the guy say: hide your kids, hide your wife, and don't give him no wine.
Steve said, "Bring in Bond. Use the bonus to pay the bond."
There you go.
Right.
Could you imagine the sign? Pay the bond. Pay the bond. Whoa.
Now you talking. Now you talking.
I don't think that's. Honestly, I don't think that's terrible. But you got to think about it. This is how I look at it. See, that's why this culture, everybody eats, everything flies in the face of everything that I believe, because I don't want to say I don't care about you off the field, but it doesn't matter. You do what you do and let God judge you.
Yeah.
But on the field is what I'm paying for. On the field is what I'm dealing with. I don't need to get invested. See, when everybody's invested in their social media and all this stuff, I don't care about that stuff. That's why they get wrapped up in Stephon Diggs, and he knows it. Yep. That's why the James Cook thing got blown up, because you're in his DMs. He didn't go, to the press conference and talking about with his sunglasses on. I'm not talking unless I get my 15 mil. His brother said 20 mil. He was on Nightcap with Shay and Ocho, said something about 15 mil. Move on. It was a 3-second thing. Mm-hmm. They talked about it longer than he did. This other thing with the poker competition, he said, I don't want to talk about it. He don't want to talk about it. It was said, it, move on. But because you're in the social media, you're invested in Josh Allen and Haley Stein. Let me ask this. I meant to ask this last time. How many of you guys saw Sinners because Haley Steinfeld was in it?
I still want to go see it, but
it's an excellent movie. It's an excellent movie. No, it's an excellent movie though. And being that my dad is from Mississippi, and that's where it was set in the 30s. Obviously, he wasn't born in the 30s, but it gave me a look at where my grandparents were from. What they came up through. But it's an excellent movie, and I suggest going to see it. And it was funny because something happened, and I mentioned Josh Allen. He was like, "Why would he talk?" I said, "Because of Haley." She was like, "That was her, was it?" She watched the whole movie, didn't know it was her. I was like, but see, the thing is, I don't get invested in their personal stuff. I don't care about who they're dating or who they're, doesn't matter. What you doing on the field? Isaiah Bond, if he plays on that field and don't run over my dog that I don't own, whatever.
Right.
Whatever. Because it's my job to protect what I love. And if you want to step in the way, trust me, I've been in the gym for a while. I'm ready for whatever. That's the reason why I go to the gym, because I'm ready for whatever.
There you go.
You know, and it's my job to protect my person and the people that rely on me for protection, and it's your job to play football.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. I mean,
I was gonna say that no bones, but I ain't want to get canceled. I ain't want to get canceled.
What?
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. So look, where do you guys stand after this conversation? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. I mean, for me, I think at the end of the day, after doing this deep dive, it really shows up as the result being these receivers can get the job done. And I think these receivers this year, more so than last year's set of receivers, can definitely get the job done. And I'm more so looking at the addition of Elijah Moore, Josh Palmer, and a healthy Khalil Shakir being on the field with a second-year Keon Coleman.
That's funny, because I'm interested in the guys we had. Jalen Virgil, 6'1", 210, ran a 4.4. He was a yak guy, go high point guy. Him and Khalil Shakir could be kind of the same kind of guy. And we saw it in the preseason last year. Also, Laviska Shenault, he's 26 plus.
Mm-hmm.
He played at the pre-prime Colorado Buffaloes. They were horrible pre-prime.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And
he still got drafted though.
Through that, 1,900 yards receiving, 300 yards rushing. You could do so many things, and they showed you they want this gadget. They want this Curtis Samuel kind of guy. Shenault can be the running back if you want to be. He's 6'1", 230.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bowling ball. You gotta cultivate him, because I'm interested in seeing if they can extract something out of him that nobody else could. And if they can, that shows me that they can coach guys up, because Shenault played in Jacksonville, and we know how that is.
Yeah,
this wasn't a good thing for him. So extract it. We don't need to go and talk about all these high price players that we always do. We don't, because like you just said, you said, and I was gonna like go around it, because I really did a deep dive in all the receivers we had. And I'm interested in why they can't get more out of KJ Hamler. I'm interested in why they can't do anything with, and like Beth said, Shavers. He had one long boy. Caden Prather, he's a practice squad guy. I think he's got to learn how to catch. That's his problem. He's got to learn how to catch.
Okay. I agree with Big Papa Bill. I don't think that's a guy you sleep on. I mean, they already have him second on the depth chart behind Keon Coleman. Look, for me, I'm the reason I say the guys I say, I wanted to see more Jalen Virgil last year when we needed a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? And Shavers, don't even get me started on that. The excitement I had when they talked about him in training camp and how good he was doing in training camp, I was like, wait a second, a 6'5", 6'4" receiver that has the speed that he has, that, now hearing in training camp that his route running is better and we know he can catch, and this is a developmental guy. I've wanted a big-bodied receiver like that to come in here and be a guy that the Bills trust for so long. So when I saw Shavers go off for that one catch and then they never went to him again after that, it was like, okay, I'm just going to have to just accept that the Bills really don't care about developing these young guys unless it's a guy that they specifically designate like a Keon Coleman, and they give him the spot. That's the way the Bills have shown that they operate this entire time. If we don't handpick a draft pick to come in here and be the guy that we develop, all these young guys that we have on the back burner or a practice squad or whatever, those are just guys. We don't even pay them any attention, right? And for me, that's frustrating, because I am the type of thinker like you got all these young guys that show promise. Develop them. That's your farm right there. That's your pipeline of talent that you need to be cultivating. But the Bills are just like, we'll sign a veteran next year. You know what I'm saying? He can continue to be back up. He's great in practice. Now we love the way he practices. He practices really hard. We love his work ethic.
That's why I put that up there. Where he hit it right on the head. I think I said a couple shows ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, I don't want to hear nothing about, if we're going to talk about I forget who it was at the time that everybody was raving about, and Harrison is that. Oh, it was Max Malachi Starks, his mention on Josh Allen. If you can't say that until you play, then I don't want to hear nothing. Like Roy said, it's easy to turn heads when there's no contact, no playing. They're playing against air.
That's true.
Last year, Chase Claypool was the dude. Claypool had us thinking that's our number one. All things were good.
Yep.
He didn't even see. He didn't even get all the way through training camp.
No, he got cut early.
He didn't see preseason nothing. He had a lingering like ankle sprain or something stupid nonsense, and he cut him. But he's a good guy. We'll welcome him back. Now, what you cut him for then?
Right, exactly. Welcome him back for what?
Right. I don't know. I don't understand it. So it's like, okay. But yeah, I think for me, Prather, yeah, sure, he could be fine. I think he could be fine. But we've seen shorters, we've seen Kobe Listenbees, we've seen. So I'm gonna sit here and say we've seen KJ Hamler have a big year in Denver. His first year was a great year to build on. We saw what he did in preseason for us last year, especially the last game of the season where he ran the ball, passed the ball, caught the ball, kicked the ball, whatever. But I think if you're doing an honest evaluation and you actually know what you're evaluating for, what your system's going to be, it makes it a lot easier. People are overestimating the fact that the Bills know what they're doing. Not that they know that they don't know how to run a team, but they don't know what their system is.
Well, let's say it this way. Let's say it this way, because Laura does bring up a good thought angle to this conversation. She says, I think people underestimate the investigative powers of NFL teams. When that much money is on the line, believe me, fact gathering is on beast mode. I hate the WRs combo. So I would agree with this. I would agree that the way teams investigate, like I've seen what that process looks like now with nephew having gotten drafted. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different things that I heard about that process of Will Johnson going through the interviews and all that kind of stuff. So I have a better understanding of what actually happens and the communication with agents and all that kind of stuff. Right. So I would say this. Let's not say that the Bills don't know what they're doing. Let's say that the Bills' decisions on what to do is in question, because I think the Bills do have an idea of what they want to do. I just think it's the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying?
I would love to agree, but I think Keon Coleman said it on the barbershop with Carmelo when he said, when I got hurt, they changed the way we played, and it was working. So I know. And see, that's the thing. Like, okay, you had to bring in another guy that you didn't need because everybody's eating. They weren't eating well. Then Amari Cooper comes in and they have to change the whole offense and cater to whatever. But if that's the case, if you got a wide receiver that in his first year that says that's not what I do or that's not what I fit into, that was not the right draft pick.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. And it's fine, for me, if they just knew what they were grooming people to do.
But you know where that comes from, though? You know where that comes from, though? I think I know where you're coming from exactly now, right? Because I was trying to understand the foundation of saying they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
I think what you're referring to is something Brandon Beane said in terms of how they decide on players, right? What he spoke about. I'm trying to remember what interview this was in. This might have been the Rich Eisen interview, but he talked about how they look at the player fit. Does he fit the culture, right? And if he's a culture fit, then we look at, okay, well, what does he put on tape? What can he do? We need to get him in here for an interview and talk to the guy and get a feel for him. And after they do all, so the interview that they usually do with the players after they've already looked at the film, and the film study comes after they've already decided that this guy is a cultural fit. So it's kind of backwards. The way most teams do it is they look at, can this guy help us win? If he can, does he fit the system? Does he fit what we do on the field? The Bills are looking at it from the standpoint of does he fit the locker room first? Then what's his skill set? You notice nowhere in there do they say, does he fit what we do?
Right.
What that says is we don't start formulating a plan of what we want to do on offense until we see the talent that we plan on keeping in training camp. That's basically what it says. And that's tough. That's really tough because you got an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator that are putting plays together the entire offseason. right? They're putting the playbook together the entire offseason. They're brainstorming and all this stuff, and then they get to training camp and they get told who the players they're going to have are, and then they have to tailor the playbook around the players that they have. And so that's how you end up with this situation of, well, the offense we were running the first 4 weeks of the season isn't working, so let's switch some things up and tweak it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think you're referring to when you say they don't know what they're doing, because they just do it backwards. They do it the opposite way that every other team does it, and it is very frustrating.
Yeah, and kind of I don't think. Well, I don't know if you're talking to me and Abe, especially because I know a lot of shows we do. Everybody thinks we're just super negative, but no, I think Keon Coleman for what he does is excellent. But I think what he does is not something they value, and the Bills fans are going to sit around for. I think it's going to grow old when all he does is catch the jump balls, this, that, and third. And I struggle to understand what exactly people want out of a wide receiver, because now we're talking about wide receivers who block. And I mean, come on, this is not 19. This is not Tecmo Bowl. This is not Jim Kelly era. This is passing. You pay 5 horses up front to block. You paid Hawes to block, Dawson Knox to block.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You don't have a full black. There's got to be a full black on the team somewhere. You don't have a full back on this team, and if you care that much about protecting Josh Allen in the passing game, where's your fullback? There's three of the best offenses in the league have fullbacks.
Right.
Where's ours? We obviously don't care about that because Josh he has no use for it anyway. He runs way over there. He outruns the defensive line and then chucks the thing. That's what he does. If he was a pocket passer, okay, fine. But see, that's why I don't put as much of a premium on the pass blocking of a running back. And this is not a James Cook thing at all. If Ray Davis was great at running at pass blocking, if Ty Johnson was great at it, fine. I still don't care because we don't need that. Yeah. When we have a scrambling quarterback as we do with Josh Allen, you want somebody that's going to find an open spot and sit down in it and catch the ball, then make a move after the catch.
Yep.
And if people are contending to me that James Cook can't do that, I'll listen to that because we have seen him drop the ball.
Yep.
But because he can't block, because they can't, none of them can really block.
Yeah.
But what are we doing here?
But the best running backs in the league don't block.
That's it. But
I mean, Bijan Robinson, how well does he block?
Not good. Derrick Henry, not good. And the thing is, and that's part of what I'm saying when I say they don't know what I should say they don't know what they're looking at. That's what I should say. Because, and this is Bill's brass as well. If you want to run a true 12, everybody's a blocker. Fine. Well, you should have about 5 running backs. That's all you're going to do. You don't need Josh Allen.
Right.
Because you can get Brock Purdy. Well, now he's expensive too now, but you can go get you a running. What did the Jet? Who was it that said, I'm not going to pay a quarterback $40 million to hand the ball off? And that's what a 12 really is.
Yeah.
Be accurate, West Coast, nothing flashy.
I mean, Sean told everybody the kind of offense that he wanted when he named Peterman the starter. Yeah. He told it like that should have been a dead giveaway.
Yeah. That
Josh is on the team, but never mind, I want Nathan Peterman to start. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he's on time with everything. He's efficient. The ball goes where it's supposed to go in practice.
Right.
This is the expectation of the head coach. This is the thing. It's short-sighted, is what it is. And really the approach to the team build in itself is very short-sighted. It's very, very short-sighted. When you look at where they often are in terms of talent level and competitiveness in the playoffs, they go into the postseason fighting for their lives. Every game in the postseason never looks like a regular season game. Like a regular season game looks like the Bills are a dominant team. They are a beast. Mm-hmm. They're going to roll through you. There's nothing you could do about it. That's how the regular season usually looks. And it's great. But why is there such a stark difference from that performance to every team that they play in the playoffs almost beating them?
Right.
Like for a while, we thought we were going to lose to the Broncos. Mm-hmm. you know what I'm saying? That game against the Ravens had my knees shaking. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, these turnovers are great, but right. I had a feeling the second half would look different, and it did.
That's what I wanted to. You said it, and I got to bring it up right now because did you know that the Bills only had 8 turnovers last year?
Yes.
Did you know that's the fewest amount of turnovers they've ever had in Bills history?
I did not know that.
In Bills history, the next closest was 12 in 2019 or so.
Wow.
No, that can't be right.
Yeah, I was about to say that's Josh's
16,
first year?
16.
16? Okay.
2016.
Okay.
It had to be
Tyrod
Tyrod.
Taylor.
It had to be
Yeah, it had to
Tyrod.
be.
So all you Tyrod lovers, there you go. I think the other year was 2017. But no, when you're talking about the swings of it, ebbs and flows, and we're talking about the schedule, and 8 turnovers is not sustainable. It's not sustainable at all.
Not.
You know, and we're gonna have only 4 turnovers this year. Wow. Okay, Big Papa. I want whatever you drink because you're like Mel. I need to sit on your couch and watch the game. You make me feel better about everything. Yes, I worry a lot. Yes, I do. Somebody said Prather should beat out Keon Coleman. I don't know who it was, but I'd
be happy with that.
I don't see how that could ever happen.
That's how much I like Caden Prather.
I mean, I'm not. I have to see him. See, that's the thing. We've seen Coleman. I have to see Prather in the NFL.
I think people are saying like the route running alone at this point, Caden Prather's already better than Keon Coleman.
I think everybody's pretty much better than. I think he's probably the worst route runner on the team.
Right, right. So and he's faster. He's faster than Keon Coleman too. So I mean, put that guy out there. Here's the other part that frustrated me too. Is this conversation over, you know, the receivers and divas and all that kind of stuff. But then somebody pointed at, you know, Dawson Knox is a great tight end and he's athletic and blah, blah, blah. And you can't say the Bills don't have. We watched this dude in practice catching wrenches because he had problems with his hands. Mm-hmm. Why are we flipping out about what James Cook can't do when we got a guy making triple the amount of money that James Cook is making right now that has consistently for his career dealt with drop issues in a Dawson Knox. And again, this is not like I'm taking the opportunity to slam Dawson Knox wherever I can. It's documented. It's real. And maybe he doesn't have that anymore, but he also doesn't get anywhere near the targets he used to get at the beginning of his career either. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's more plausible to say that maybe the Bills just kind of decided, hey, 2 targets a game might be it for this guy. You know what I'm saying? That's the max, because he wasn't even that guy in college, as you pointed out before. Yeah. He wasn't this uber athletic receiving tight end, and he was more of a blocking guy. So okay, cool. The Bills paid him like a receiving tight end and then put him into a blocking role. And here we are talking about James Cook can't block, can't this, whatever, and Dawson Knox is still on the team. Like how do you make the math? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And don't even start on the James Cook conversation. I'm only bringing that up to talk about. We
got to say that every time now. Precursor. We're not doing this. You will get blocked. No, you won't. But
I'm bringing that up to say, like, the Caden Prather stuff, when he's got to get better hands, and we got a bunch of players on this team that can be better at everything. Right. Just put the guy out there and let him freaking play and see if he can do it against better competition. I really don't like if the thought process is, and based on everything that I've seen and heard surrounding this team for the last 2 years that we've been in this game, it really does seem like the team looks at Josh Allen as, if the players that we draft or the players that we sign don't turn out to be everything that they're supposed to be, at least we have Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He'll bail us out every time. And he has. Yeah. He'll do it every time. So we don't have to be perfect with our first round picks. We don't have to be perfect with the wide receivers we put around. We don't have to. Yeah. Josh is going to elevate all that and we'll be fine.
Nope, Laura, we not taking the bait. The Cook argument time? No, it ain't. Senke said, if anything, put Keon at tight end. If Kincaid doesn't pan out, honestly, I just want them to use players that are strong. Hey, I already said that. And the thing is, you don't have to be a tight end.
Right.
You can run a spread.
Yep.
You can run a spread like they did at LSU.
Yep.
And Joe Brady would be like,
right, now I can breathe.
I can breathe. Like, get rid of all these low price wide receivers. Give me some fast guys. Give me the guys that can go out there, you know, and it'd be beautiful. And what?
Yes, Matt C is on the show. Now I can read an angry chat message.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Hold on.
Oh, throwing it up.
It's been a while.
Super Saiyan 1.
Okay. Better not.
Super Saiyan.
No, you better not.
Super Saiyan.
No.
Hey, quiet. All right.
Let him cook.
You don't ever say that again.
Shh. Before you get muted. Bill's front office is full of losers, bro. Where's my applause? Where's the applause?
It's in there somewhere.
Where it? There we go. Thank you.
No,
Thank you very much.
No, you don't deserve applause.
Thank you very much.
No, you don't.
Appreciate it. No. It's okay. It's all right. Thank you. Thank you, Matt C, for that. I need to get those out of the way once in a while.
Oh, this guy's thanks.
Sal says Mahomes bails out the Chiefs. Great QBs do that. Yeah, but if the thought process is Josh Allen on the Chiefs would win just as many championships, then we have to acknowledge that the issue is coaching, because if Andy Reid is winning with Mahomes and he could do the same with Josh Allen, but Sean McDermott can't win with Josh Allen, and we all here in this building think that even if Mahomes was here, the winning would be just about the same in the regular season and about the same in the postseason. To me, the conversation it kind of takes away that caveat of, well, yeah, but Mahomes covers his team too. That's not the point. The point is not to prop up how much Josh Allen helps the team. The point is to expose and point a light on the fact that Josh has all this weight and pressure on him to do everything.
And before you finish, have we seen George Bailey in the chat before?
I
don't remember George Bailey.
I don't think so.
You got to give him your speech. You made a mistake.
What did he say?
He was talking about he gets chills with regards to Tyrell Saver. This is a while ago.
And
I put it up on the screen, but you're in mid speech, so I didn't want to interrupt. But yeah,
okay.
George Bailey, I'm sorry, but you made the mistake of commenting on our chat.
Yeah, you done did it now.
So now you have been adopted as part of the family. Blood in, blood out, brother.
That's it.
You ain't getting out. You can't get jumped out.
Well,
not even in death.
Chat in, blood out. That's what it is. Chat in, blood out.
Yeah, you ain't getting jumped out. Not even in death. You're part of this now.
No, that's right. Yeah,
it's over.
Till death.
No, past that.
Past that.
Because when he dies, I'll be there and I'll be like, "Welcome in, sir."
We keep the bodies.
We
keep all the bodies of our chat friends.
We got microphones up here too, sir.
You just got a casket with a microphone right here.
The post-podium heavenly podcast.
I am your co-host, Aramis.
And this is right. This is Eternal Key.
Eternal Key. A-Mac says KC has a Canton-bound DT.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that sounds like help to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that he's had Kelsey for how many years, the fact that he had Tyreek Hill when he won a championship, he's had help, man. He's had help. So, look.
And yes, Ben, no, he dropped 2 passes all of last year. They both were not touchdown passes, just so you know. I'll tell you who he is. Y'all know who he is at this point.
He said, "Oh no, what did I do?"
You did nothing but comment. You're our guy now.
Matt C gave me another one. Okay. Ready?
Oh gosh.
Shh. Ready? I tell McDermott he's a moron right to his face. If I had the chance to, I don't give a bro. Wait, where's my button at? Where's my button at? Where
do it again.
Do
it again. You gotta start over.
I messed up
because you gotta hit the button. Yeah.
Dog, I did. I messed that up. All right. Take 2. Ready? And action. You calm down in there. I will mute your mic.
You know what?
I will do it.
Key, watch out. Key, wait till after he's done.
All right. Here we go. You ready? I tell McDermott he's a moron right to his face. If I had the chance, I don't bro.
There you go.
Yo, chat. Watch this.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Yo,
chat.
Got him.
Add that to your day. Add that to your day.
That was excellently done.
That was foul.
That was excellently
that was all the way foul.
And Spin, touche. Spin, you're right. I like how you clean it up. Spin got me on that one. I can't say that. He said those drops weren't touchdowns because he dropped them. True. I can't even say nothing for that. It's true.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, kind of. You got to be on the draft show. It was epic.
That's why we yell. You got to go watch the draft show.
You watch anyone, pick one of the 2. I don't care. He was having a meltdown and we were here around 4.
Watch the one where he pumped the football high up in the air.
Oh, that's T's favorite part.
Oh my gosh! You know what I might have to do? Where heel turn at? I need heel turn to make a T-shirt of me punching the ball during the show. I need one of those silhouette thing, whatever they call it, a silhouette thing of me punting the ball during the show. I need a T-shirt of that. That'd be great.
That was crazy.
There we go. Hey, all right. Thank you, Laura. All right. We gotta get out of here because we got a video to shoot after this. But look, I've only had a little bit of water this whole time. You know what I really could have used? Because I'm a little hot in this city.
Oh man, see, I wasn't even prepared. You know what though?
What?
I could freelance that Reed's tea.
Yeah?
Yeah. You
Okay.
know why?
Why?
Whenever it's 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, and 2 parts healthy, I feel empowered.
You should.
I can do my thing because the cognition is there. It's popping. It's just popping all over the place. But guess what? That's what you get when you drink that Reed's tea.
No doubt.
So why would you go get a case when you can go get an individual and a case? Both of them. Because you can share the individual and take the case for yourself. But what do I know? I don't like tea, but I like that tea right there. And I'll tell you what, you won't be disappointed if you get some for yourself. Reed's tea. Like the link in the descriptions and let them know who sent you. Post Podium Podcast style.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Okay. All right. Look, if you're hearing that music, that means it's time for us to jump out the window. We don't have to get Keyshawn to work tonight, but we do have to get to the we're still shooting the Madden content, and we got to get to that tonight as well. So, with that being said, if everybody, we got 1,938 people on here. If I can just get a third of you guys to just like, maybe can I get an eighth of you guys to subscribe? You got to do that right here at this link at the bottom of the screen. It's not a link. You can't click it. But if you go to YouTube or if you go to Twitter and you type that in, you'll be able to find us. But please, YouTube, okay, that's where we are on YouTube, the Post Podium Podcast. Hit the subscribe button, hit that like, hit that bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications like the release of our membership content. We are starting to do a lot more live chat stuff in the Discord. We're going to be doing live stream stuff in the Discord. We're going to have video content available for you guys. We're going to do members only video live chats. Okay. I'm probably going to do one this weekend. I know. Yeah, probably. Look, the idea is to just continue to build the community. All right. So if you love what you've been seeing in our chat, the membership is just the same. Yeah, right. And it's pause free, folks.
Pause free.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, I want to thank everybody who tuned in with us, everybody who was in the chat, all of the familia that was here with us tonight.
George, you're one of them.
Yes,
George,
absolutely.
you are. That's what we mean. You're done, son.
Right. Pinned to the top of this video on in the chat. It should be in the chat across the board. I did pin our link to our membership. So if you just want to scroll to the top, you can click right on that. That'll take you there.
Hey,
what's that?
you pin my pitch on there.
Okay. So I will get to that. We got to close. I'll do that for next episode. I'll also post it in the what's that called? The community section now. So that'll be posted in there too. So again, if you have not done so already, my Ayo producer here, my oldest son Junie, he's got 2 channels. All right. If you like basketball, you got to go check out Basketball Truth and Knowledge. He just
show us your face. Show us your face.
He just did a podcast yesterday. Did you have Justin on yesterday?
He couldn't be on.
You can make it. Okay. All right. So he's efforting right now to get Justin Johnson on the show. Local West Seneca legend Justin Johnson, basketball player, in there to talk about some some playoff basketball. So definitely make sure you check that out. Also, if you're into gaming, he just started a gaming channel. He's Babyface Assassin on YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you go and you follow him on Twitch or subscribe to his channel and check that out because he's got a lot of great stuff coming your way. Other than that, any other announcements, bro?
No, I was going to say, you said you want an eighth of the 1,948 viewers to subscribe.
You did the math.
If you're one of the 8, if you're one of those 8, you're not talking to you. We want a different 8, a whole different 8. We're on a mission to 1,000. Mission to 1,000 subscribers. What I do? Mission to 1,000 subscribers.
This man tried to do the hard thing with his fingers. Man, I saw you trying. I don't ever do that again.
Thank you, CD. Appreciate that.
But yeah.
Man, look like a mugshot. Don't do that again.
Wait. We are not turning anybody away from this. She said, if you want to fire McD immediately, do not join. She feels like she's being overwhelmed right now. It's really not that way. If anything, I'm nicer in the Discord chat than I am on the show.
I don't think we really want to fire McD. Maybe it's the part I'm not looking at. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Who's the only person? I think OLI was it. OLI. There was one person. There was only one person that I've seen so far. Hello.
I hear you. Oh, you dropped? Yeah, I can't hear you either. Oh, well, I guess that's the end of the show, folks.
Oh, yeah. You don't know what it is.
With 1952, 1951. Hey, just do us a favor. Just go over there and just let us know what you think about the show. What did you think? Did you like it? Did you not? What did you enjoy the most? Was it too long, too short? What do you want? Let us know.
Yep. All right. With that being said, I can hear me again now. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no stodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
This is 40 Keys Alton. It's on the way, brother.
I like that light. He's nice and bright in there.